What's going on, fam?
Yo, what's up, squad?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome. We've still got another 140 odd people to join.
Guys.
So welcome, everybody. Welcome. Another 140 odd people to join.
Guys.
The feedback coming.
Welcome from Australia.
Welcome.
Melbourne.
Welcome. Another
London.
140 odd people to join.
Guys.
Sorry, can I just mute everyone for a second there quickly?
Just mute everyone. Melbourne.
London.
London.
Sunny London.
Australia.
Melbourne.
Newcastle,
Hey,
Australia.
London.
Canada.
Welcome.
This is still going to go on for a little bit, Craig. There's still like
Sunny
300.
London.
Newcastle.
Hi guys, you're from East Coast Quebec.
Berlin, Germany.
Jackie, Jason's in the lobby. If you can make him co-host when he gets there.
Hi guys, you're from East Coast
Cool, give me
Quebec.
a sec.
Berlin, Germany.
Jackie,
from Montreal.
make him co-host when he gets there.
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. Is everyone muted now or what?
No, I think they just stopped speaking.
Hello.
Check.
Hello, everybody. Okay, we've got you sitting with the sniper team without the sniper. So let's let everyone join, and then we'll update everyone.
Into the snipers.
Cool. Let me just mute quickly. Craig, unmute.
Right. Welcome, everybody. We're sitting here with the whole sniper team without sniper. I'll update you shortly, and then we'll get into today's show. Just getting the last, how many have we still got to go here, Jackie? Another 30 odd people.
Yeah, everyone's in. It's just Jay that's stuck in the waiting room.
Okay, they're coming through right now. Let them get through. Right, everybody's here. So, guys, Sheldon's not well today. I don't know if you saw his show never went live. Not sure what's going on, but he's really not looking good. I left him sleeping in the office. We put down some mattresses on the floor, and I'm not sure what's I mean, he arrived this morning. He already wasn't sounding well when we were chatting, and then it just seems to progressively get worse. He arrived at the office looking like absolute shite. And then he just fell asleep. I tried to wake him up twice for the show, but there was absolutely no chance of it. So we pulled the show, but we decided we would still do the live just so we can give everyone an update. So welcome to all the mods that are here at the top. And I hope the rest of you hang around, because what I wanted to do was walk everyone through basically the process that we go through every morning. So we're going to have a good overview of the markets, and then we'll chat to some of the mods and see if we can find any trades there. And then we'll just take it as it comes. So I wanted to know, see, is Jason in yet, Jackie?
Yes, he is. I'm busy giving him co-host rights right now.
To co-host. Right. So for any of you that watched the show that was on Banter on Sheldon behind the scenes from Saturday, if you haven't actually seen that show, and maybe Jackie, you can post the link to that show in the chat. I think it's definitely something worthwhile having a look at, like what happens in the background day to day with Sheldon and actually in our team. And we're going to be doing a lot more from those that seem to be very well received. I hope you guys all liked it. So I want to know in the chat if you guys have actually seen it. Zoom is lagging. I hope it's okay. Yes, let's hope Sheldon gets well. Please just let me know you can hear everything's good. Yeah, great video. It is an excellent video. So it sure is something that's worthwhile watching. Just to give you an update, there are 2 trading competitions that are starting to get going now. The last time the trading competitions came out, it was when the market was really bleeding, so they didn't work out too well. However, we felt that right now was probably a really good time. So there's a Bybit trading competition, and there's an OKX trading competition. Both of them are great prizes. First prizes on both of them are Teslas. So 2 chances on a Tesla. I think Bybit, their second prize is a Rolex, and their third prize is $10,000 cash. So the way that you've got to do it is you've got to log into your Bybit and log into your KuCoin account as with your normal login. then look in the show descriptions, and maybe Jackie, you can post it shortly into the description here. All you do is click the link to join the competition. So you don't have to create a new link, use your existing link, and then just join the trading competition. Bybit starts in about a week's time, and I think KuCoin has already just started. So it enters you in, and it's not about the volume. In other words, it's not about the dollars that you trade, it's about your success in trading. So anyone actually can make it, even with your $10 trade. So definitely it's something to have a look at. Is there anything else here in the chat before we sort of get going? Is Jay with us?
How's it, everybody?
How's it, Jason? Nice to have you here, bud. So what I wanted to do is basically guide you through what happens from the sniper team's perspective on our side. Will you spotlight Dylan as well there, please? So as you know, if you're listening to much of the snipers from the school, you'll know that effectively this kind of call started in, when was it, Jay, that we started? 2018 or something?
In 2020, the beginning of 2020, we started with 5 people in the room.
Yeah, 5 people in a room, and we used to do a call like this every single day. And that led, and that, in fact, that call, although it's Jason, myself, and Sheldon are not there anymore, that small group still carries on to this day with their calls and everything else. So it's been amazing to see, and it's just progressed literally to what we've got today. And what we used to do was on a daily basis is we'd go in and just do an update for the whole market. Just have a look at where we are, look at possible trades that we've got. And that's in fact the exact same thing that happens today. So every morning what happens from about 8 o'clock or earlier, we're all already scouring the charts along with Sheldon, and between Dylan, Jason, myself, Sheldon, a couple of the mods, we take off. We've got a mods group where some of the mods have put their hands up to want to become trainers of the next trainers. We literally start posting charts and start trying to get a feel for the market. By 9 o'clock in the morning, South African time, we go onto a Zoom call, which is really just Jason, myself, Dylan, and Kaylin, who you might not know, but Kaylin's our superstar who does all of the tiles for the show. So we try and come up with a narrative at 9 o'clock in the morning that is already going to be used on the show at around 1 o'clock. So sometimes, we have a day like yesterday where we come up with a narrative that's looking quite bullish. And between the time that we start at 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock, the market decides to dump. So there's a sudden scuffle in the back end to try and change the tile, get it more relevant to the current conversation. But generally on a day-to-day basis, I think we're pretty accurate with it. And as I say, it's really Dylan, Jason, myself, and Sheldon that go into it. And I'm going to want to use the same process that we do here. I mean, obviously, yesterday we had a dip-off in the market. And we're now in that situation, like, are we going to trend lower or actually are we going to trend up? We really are in that situation. And I'm sure if you, in fact, I'd like to know, Jackie, if you can put a poll, I don't know if it's here or if it's on the YouTube, but I want to know, are you long, are you short, or are you out and waiting? 3 choices. Are you long, short, or waiting? I'd love to see what the where we are with the whole group. Jackie, can you put something like that
together?
Put
up the poll right now, just getting plugged in. We need some power.
So, Craig, just building on what you just said there, I encourage everybody to form if you can, a community where you meet on a regular basis and discuss the markets. Because this market is really changing, not on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. So it's important that people get together on a regular basis, discuss what's happening in the market, not just what's on the charts, but the fundamental part too. And, there are definitely more wins and losses than being in a community too. Craig, if you can remember in 2017, trading was very easy. There was no institutions involved there and very little whales. It was literally like throwing a dart on a dartboard and you would make money. But since institutions have joined the party and how this market's actually changed, it's becoming more and more difficult to actually make money in this market.
Yeah, I think, we're seeing it all the time now, and we're fighting those big whale candles to the up and to the bottom, and we've got to be a lot more on our toes. And as Jason was saying, team and community is so important. I mean, we still work in a small team. We still pick each other up. We still pick each other out. We're still warning it because it's not something that you ever really 100% get your head around it. And I think if you ever get to the point where you think, okay, I've actually got this, you're probably in not a good position because you really don't have it, because the market is constantly changing. I mean, if we just have a look at the last couple of months, Jay and Dylan, I mean, think about it. We really had a flat market for so long. I mean, we were battling with shows every single day to come up with narratives and whatever. And then all of a sudden, Bitcoin just took off. I mean, we had this long period of this Bitcoin just going. I mean, after that, we, in fact, probably around the Bitcoin, it might have been a bit before, we had the NFTs explode. I mean, January was like NFT season. I mean, it was one of the best, and I'm not an NFT person, but we made really, really good money on NFTs. I don't know if any of you were in that. Then it went into this Bitcoin phase. Then suddenly, once we started topping, Ethereum took off because of the Ethereum narrative. And then we seem to have slowed down on all of them. We've had a nice little pump on altcoins last week. And then suddenly out of the blue this week, we get the meme narrative. I mean, the Pepe coins and whatever. And then everyone's like chasing what's the next meme coin that's coming in. So these narratives are changing all the time. And it's so important to be staying with the narrative. Because the way that I see it, Dylan and Jay, just then correct me if you think differently, but there's not that much fresh money coming into the market. It's like the same money is just moving. And we have to move where that money is moving and trade wherever that money is to be had. I don't know what you think about that, Jay.
100%. I mean, just do you guys remember the AI pumps? I mean, it felt like ages ago, but you know, they just move money around from coin to coin, and we can just keep watching that total market cap. I mean, that's going to give us some signs as well as to how much fresh cash is coming in.
As I say, to me, it really is. Yeah, you're right. We had the Chinese pump, we had the AI pump. So we've had, we've already been through so many narratives, and we only at the end of April, and every one of them gave opportunities to make literally eye-watering money. I
don't think we've had a DeFi pump yet. Have we had a DeFi pump?
I don't really think so. I think with the whole thing that's going on in the US, we haven't really. But I mean, NFTs was eye-watering for me personally. It was eye-watering watching the meme coins in terms of I was crying like, how could I miss this? But these things seem to go so far, and then you think, well, they can't go any further, and then they just keep going. So the community is so important, guys, that you actually watch the shows. I mean, you get amazing fundamental stuff off of Rand Show. You get amazing technical stuff from all the shows, whether it be Kyle, whether it be Sheldon, and then you've got Miles, who's an absolute star. So I mean, across the board on Banter, we really do try and keep the community safe.
And just building on that, Craig, sorry, the other thing is that we need to hold each other accountable as far as emotions are concerned. Remember, the market's all about emotions, whether it's fear and greed. So and Craig respects me telling him this, when Craig gets greedy, he respects my view when I tell him, listen, Craig, I think you should be taking profit here. So I encourage you to do the same. When you've seen somebody that's been greedy in the market, it is expecting more and more, you need to tell them, listen, slow down, check your emotions where you are right now, and think clearly what your actions are, what you're actually doing.
Yeah, you need people to tell you that, because Jay's right. I mean, and Jay is such a good sounding board for me, because when I get bullish, I get so bullish, and I never want to sell out. I mean, we know what happened with those.
I think I've heard you bearish once, Craig.
I'm relatively a perma bull, but that's why the team is so important. Is we just try and keep everyone balanced. Get out of this trade now. You've done more than enough out of this trade. Take your money now. You know what I mean? And often you've got to look at it and go, okay, do I want, for example, I'm just referring to the one that I did so well with, which was those NFTs, those VV checks. Like, do I want this picture or do I want this Ethereum? Like, what do you want? Ultimately, what do I want? This picture or this Ethereum? And you've got to always, get someone to say to you, hey, Bitcoin and Ethereum, those are the things. That's actually what we need. I have to say that light shining down your head makes you look like an Asian monk.
Sorry, man. Guys, I think, look, we can have a whole session on trading psychology and stuff, but I think a lot of guys want to see now where we are, what levels we're at, what's going on in the market.
Dol, let's have a look at Bitcoin. Where are we at?
Okay, let me just share my screen here. Okay, let me know you can see that. Okay, we'll get to this one just now. This is fetch. We can talk about that just now. Okay, let's get a clean Bitcoin chart here.
And this is literally the way to start every day. I mean, you've got to start with Bitcoin, you've got to start with ETH and work your way down. So this is literally how we start on a daily basis. So what you got there, Jay?
Yeah, look, so yeah, sometimes it's good to look at it with a fresh eye every day. So you'll work on your charts every single day, you carry on, and then you sort of form a bias. And sometimes after a move like this, you need to sort of reset everything. So I've actually wiped this chart, and I just want to look at it sort of clean again. And I mean, I'll start looking at sort of trends like this. I'll start looking for some horizontals. You know, I quite like this area there. Okay, so, you know, just from a trying to create a picture in my mind as to what I think is going to happen next. I'll pull a fib here. Let's take a look. I'll pull from that low. Okay, so this is interesting to me because I don't have a fib tying in with this area that looks, you know, it looks like we should be bouncing there. Let's see if we pull a fib from this move there. See, there's that 786.
Yeah.
So if you pull a fib from where this move started down there, so that was on Sunday the 9th, we've got that 786 retracement.
So anywhere between the 618 and the 786 is a golden zone.
Yeah.
So a good area to bounce.
So and then I start looking at like basic stuff. You know, we don't have to overcomplicate things. I mean, I'll look at and see where we are on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, the stochastics turn down. It's kind of resetting. It doesn't mean it's now going to turn up automatically, but we know that this downward momentum is slowing down. Yeah, so for me, that tells me now's maybe not the ideal time to start looking for shorts.
I think we're pretty much in indecision. I mean, if we don't bounce from here and we drop the bottom of your green box, I mean, we're in trouble, Adol.
Yeah. So I mean, these alts are going to get absolutely smashed if we come down here. Just be prepared for some pain. So, you know, it's not really something we want to see. Let's. I mean, we could see a 6% move on Bitcoin, and you know that could translate quite quickly into, you know, 15 to 25% move on some of these alts.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
So this is a key level to watch here for sure. And then this morning, we looked at ETH.
Yeah, let Jay, just so that they can see someone else's chances. Jay, have you got an ETH chart there?
No, I'll tell you what, all my trading views on the other computer.
So let's go to ETH then.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how I've been tracking ETH. Again, watching this trend here, and it's also it's quite an interesting zone. Yesterday, when we had that initial dump, ETH stopped short of this area. So for me, that was a potential sign that some more downside was coming, because it hadn't settled down into this sort of region where we'd expect like some kind of decent reaction. So when I look at this ETH chart now, this is the 8 hour. I can see the stock is heavily oversold here, and this it's starting to turn up here slightly. So I wouldn't rush into a short. So again,
the RSI. I just want to see if there's bullish divergence on the 4 hour.
The regular RSI. Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, again, this is how we literally start every single morning.
Okay, I'm going to move to 4 hour.
There's no bullish divergence yet, huh?
No.
Okay, so basically we're sitting in a zone now where it's very, very, very difficult to predict it. We should be at the bottom based on our 4 hour stochastics, on our 4 hour and our trend lines. Everything is there. So we're at a dangerous level. Should we drop the trend line and drop the boxes, we have got quite a big downside to go. Where we're looking at dominance, Dol? Yeah, that's interesting there. That's actually very interesting what you got there.
Yeah. Okay, so dominance is rejecting here. It's turning down. Let's just zoom out to the daily. I mean, you can see bigger picture. Like, we've hardly done anything here. You know, it's been running in this tight range.
So just to explain while you're busy looking at it there, for everyone that doesn't quite understand dominance, if the chart is going up, like you can show that strong green uptrend that we had recently there, Dol. if your Bitcoin dominance chart is moving up, and look at it on a higher time frame because it really gives you a good perspective. What it effectively means is that Bitcoin is sucking money from the alts. In other words, alts will bleed to support the Bitcoin growth. Okay. So when you get that strong, you know that Bitcoin is strong now. You've got to be careful of your alts. If your Bitcoin dominance is going up, watch your alt trades. I'm assuming most people are in alt trades. However, if you get the downtrend, like we see at that the double top to the left, where dominance starts tanking, you really get what we call an altcoin season or a mini altcoin season. And money then flows from Bitcoin into the alts. Normally goes Bitcoin ETH, which is what we saw about 2 weeks ago. And then ETH started moving into the mid-tier cap of coins. And then we all fizzled out yesterday because the whole market went down. And you can see what happens immediately then is that with the dominance goes up. So when the whole market really takes a bit of a tank, people rush back to the safety of Bitcoin. They sell their alts, and so you get a bigger sell-off in your alt percentages if you have a look at what the alts dipped relative to what Bitcoin dipped. I mean, Bitcoin only came down marginally yesterday in percentage-wise, not dollar-wise. But if you look at some of the alts, I mean, we bled at least 10% on a lot of the major alts.
But that's the thing, you know, we trade alts because we know the upside is massive. But the minute Bitcoin gets a bit unhappy, you know, it can be devastating. So, you know, guys, you just always got to make sure you got your stops in place and you're not sort of aping in. You don't want to be like 50xing things, you know.
Yeah, I'm just picking up a comment on the side there, Dol, from a guy called Low Light. Sorry for bringing up the comment. ETH will not outperform Bitcoin. Low Light advice to you is never have such a mindset. You never know what's going to happen in the markets. The minute you have a preconceived idea of what's going to happen in the market is when the market will catch you out. Always be open to everything. I mean, who would have thought that a coin like Pepe that came out on Sunday could go for $150 million market cap? No one would think that. Okay. And by not thinking, that denies you of that opportunity. So never think that ETH can never do that. The market can do whatever it wants because we don't know what's going to happen. So that's why we always look at charts. So I hope people have got that lesson. That lesson. I don't know any comments you've got on that, Dol?
No, 100%. I mean, the minute you think you know what's going to happen in the market, you're probably wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's so important, and that's why you often find these counter trend trades when everyone is so bearish, and you hear that everyone's going short, the market will go long. You know, there are people that are out there that are watching what we do. They know how you've been taught. They know how we've been taught, and they know how to work the emotions. So the bigger institutions, you must understand, trade off of the emotions of what we call retail or smaller traders. The minute that we are in max pain, they force you to a place of max pain on your trade where you just got to get out. You get out, and that's exactly the point at which they buy. You know, so always be careful of having such a preset mindset. Okay, so that's Bitcoin dominance. Stock exchange today, Dol.
Yeah, it's rejecting here this trend. Nothing to be concerned about just yet.
But it's definitely a daily down for the stock market. I mean, yesterday was down, today's down.
Yeah. So look, we're going to see in a couple of hours what the story is, but this is the daily US 30. This is Sheldon's actual chart.
Stock market trading opens up in 2 hours from now, by the way. So those are the kind of things to keep your eyes on. Also to keep your eyes on is any economic news. And in 1 hour from now, we've got employment numbers out of the US. I use a website called Forex Factory. It's got a calendar section. If you just create a free account, and set your time zone, it will give you the times in your time zone when the major events are. Look down on the day and then just look for anything that's American that's flagged with the color red. That's the easiest way to know that something's going to happen in an hour's time.
Yeah. It's a very handy tool, that countdown, especially for CPR on Forex Factory.
So stock market's looking very extended, Dol?
Yeah, I'm just looking at just the regular RSI as well down here, and you can see it's turning over. So yeah, look, it would make sense that we have some kind of move to the downside here. So this is the area I would watch. There's a 200-day MA here. There's the support trend. So like, I wouldn't panic about things if I was in this market. You know, I'd expect something like that if we come down. time to get concerned when this starts happening, you know. But it
Yeah.
could tie us into May. I mean, what do? We sell in May, right?
Yeah, so there's a well-known saying, you guys can go and Google it. It says sell and go away in May. So Google it, go and have a look at it, see how it's going to apply for you. But my only advice is always be ready for May and what it's got to offer, because the last 2 years have not been particularly great in May at all for the markets. In fact, maybe you can look at the Bitcoin chart on monthly.
The S&P, sorry, the S&P 500 has also got a double top. A double top is normally a bearish structure if you get projected there on the second. We have the second top at the moment.
So what you've got to do, guys, is once you do some sort of an assessment like what we're talking about now, you've got to kind of come up with an analysis on what you're feeling about for the day. So for me personally, and I'm just giving you my personal feeling, and it could be different from Dylan's and it could be different from everyone else in this group, is that once you've taken a big knock like we did yesterday, and it wasn't that big, but a relatively, you know, it's shaken the market because we were so bullish. You know, we're in a situation right now, and I think if you look at it on the daily, okay, let's look at that monthly. If you look at it on the daily, we're pretty much sitting on a doji candle. The market is indecisive on what it wants to do. I think we're on a daily, on a doji, aren't we?
We're looking at BTC, huh?
Yeah, BTC daily,
Yeah.
where, no, it's not even, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, there's not real direction showing there at the moment at all, you know, so the market is very undecided on which way it wants to go at this point. I mean, it's slightly more red, but it's, you know, it could just as well be a doji by the end of the day. So market's indecisive. Always look out for doji candles, especially on higher time frames, because they show indecision in the market. And you can see it there near the top. We had a doji 4 days ago where the market was trying to decide, what are we going to do? And you can see the following 2 days, a red, a green, trying to figure it out, and then it obviously decided time to go down.
So yeah, so we need to just watch this area here. We're going to keep our eye on the stock down there, and we're going to watch.
What is that price area? What is that price level down there, Dor?
28,500.
Okay, so 28,500 is important. Okay, let's go look at that monthly again, just so that people can see in history. I just want them to understand what I was talking about go away in May.
Yeah, I mean, this was pretty dark days, this one here.
Yeah.
When was this?
So that was
May 21.
What was that candle?
42%.
42% drop in May 2 years ago, and last year?
32.
32.
So they were a lot gentler on us last year.
But 32% on Bitcoin is like 60-70% on alts.
Yeah.
So guys, just be very wary of May. And again, this monthly is on a doji, yeah?
Yeah, so look, a 30% move takes us down to 20. 20K.
Takes you down to 20.
Yeah, 20K.
Okay, and does that retest the daily 200?
Yeah, so it should be, yeah. I mean, here's 20, so that would actually hit this area down here. There we go.
Is that a reasonable level, though? Technically.
Let me take a proper look at this thing.
So while you're busy doing that and putting those in place, I want the community that are here on the call to understand something. Is that no one knows what the market is going to do. If there's any YouTuber, any Twitter guy, any whatever, and he says he knows what's going to happen, they don't, okay? They're bullshitting you. No one knows. We can only work with what the market presents to us on a daily basis. So you almost have no right to be upset with any influencer about him calling the market wrong, because they can only call the market the way they see the market. Always understand that, you know. And I mean, Sheldon is a brilliant trader. You know, he makes amazing money, and his calls are more often, a lot more often than not, winners. However, they're not always right, and you need to accept that everyone is just human. We can only look at what the market and try and use technical analysis to literally find pieces of a puzzle, okay, and put them into place to form a picture for yourself. Don't be set on what you think that.
And just on that, I mean, it's a very subjective thing, this technical analysis. There's no secret recipe. There's a million things you can look at, but at the end of the day, you do these things to suit your bias and to give you confidence to enter into a trade. So, you know, you've got to come up with your own sort of system using all these things that we can give you. But at the end of the day, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. We got to just play what we see in front of us.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't see a drop yesterday. We knew it was topping, but we didn't see that drop, and certainly the drop.
You.
Yeah. We weren't expecting it, but you have to deal with what you get. So
what
again,
we can do, and this is where technical analysis helps us so much, is we can plan with our areas, so we know what to expect, and we can kind of figure out where it's going to stop, where it's going to bounce, that sort of stuff. So it's a massive help, you know, especially if you're sitting in positions and you're not sure if you need to exit or not. You know, if you know what's going on the charts, it can give you an edge.
So, I've drawn a trend line. Sorry, I've drawn a trend line.
I mean, that's up to that. You need to decide. I mean, do you, like someone said, I'm going to sell in May and go away, or do you just put in tight stops? You know, those are decisions that you need to understand. You know, but one of the things I can say to you is, if you're in a place of uncertainty in the market, when you're not quite sure on the day, don't trade. You don't have to trade. Take some time off, because when things are busy,
no trade is a trade.
Hey,
no trade is a trade.
And a great trade.
The best traders of 2022, or when was it? Yeah, it was last year. The ones that didn't do much.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. The market wants to trick us. What about May being the pump month of the year? Yeah, exactly. So you don't know that. We can only look at history. And that's why I said to you, Google go away in May. Put it into Google. Go and have a look at what it says. You need to take responsibility for yourself. Remember, you are the only one that's pulling the button to buy and pulling the button to sell. And once you pull that button, you actually can't blame anyone else for the trade. It's all up to you. So do the research. I mean, you hear DYOR, you know, do your own research. We can tell you what we're seeing or whatever, but who knows? No one knows.
Shall we go through some of these alts here, guys, and just sort of see what happened over the last few hours?
Yeah.
I've just got a few tabs open here, so if there's anyone who wants to look at anything specific, just drop it in the chat. We'll take a look there. This is Matic. So we saw Matic sitting in this tight range over here for the last few days. Could have gone either way, as you can see, and it broke down, and it's kind of hit this rising trend that started in January 23. So if I look at Matic and I'm trying to figure out if we're going to get a bounce here or not, I'm going to open the 4-hour, and I'm going to see, yeah, we've got the trend started there. We've got a touch here on the 200-day, which is quite big. And we've got this one over here, and we've got a bottomed out 4-hour stochastic. So, you know, for me, you could tentatively look at something here. But if things turn ugly, your next area for Matic is going to be around 1.02. And that's going to tie in with this 200-day down here. So that's my next sort of major area for Matic if we lose this trend.
Joel, just have a look at, I'm just looking at the comments there, just have a look at Bitcoin on short time frame, look at like 15 minutes. Someone's saying the market's dumping or Bitcoin dumping.
It's testing that 28,650 line once again.
Okay, so you're coming down again now. So that line to hold there at the bottom where we held last night. I mean, these are important levels now. You know, you don't want to be making a lower low now.
No, we don't want to get much lower than this region here.
Yeah, someone wrote there that Render never got the memo that Bitcoin has been dumping. And yeah, you get these odd tokens that like that. And what happens is the market will tend to go to that one coin. They all see it, but that makes it even more important to be watching that, you know, that trade very carefully, because, you know, money's moved here. You know, as Rain always says, the bees have moved here. Right now, you know, Render's, as I say, never got the memo. It's been so strong. I mean, all the others are down on trend line.
Yeah. No, it's been a beast. Also, this injective protocol. It's been running hard. We must take a look at that just now. Yeah, look, render, interesting. I mean, it bounced quite hard here. It's sort of like a W formation here. So I'd look, if you long render, you want to look at something here, you know, in this region. You want to maybe just take something off the top there. But yeah, if Bitcoin's going to dump, we're going to get short opportunities, and you're going to see things like render moving down here, and we're going to get that. Oh, sorry, let me just do that again. We can track this. We can track this down.
Yeah, someone just said their render's doing today what INJ did yesterday. Okay, so in other words, INJ was strong yesterday, but yesterday it's down 10%. So watch these trades. People go on to the ones that are bullish, you know, and hop on the trade, but just watch you don't get slammed.
Doge has been good today too. Let's take a look. I know there's been
a 420 today. Eh? Jay, are you going to keep an eye on that level on Bitcoin, or the community can just at 28,550, let's just say, because we really don't want to drop that low.
Okay, so I mean, look at this. Doge got absolutely wrecked yesterday. I mean, anyone who was long from down here, from 13th of April, I mean, you got absolutely smashed here. But yeah, interesting. So, you know, it's lost this trend. It's retested, and it's come down for those who are short, and now it's coming up one more time. So just be careful around here. If you are long, this is your area you want to look for exits.
Bitcoin is pushing down a bit.
So guys, we're not obviously taking, at the moment, there's no, unless any of the mods on there can see anything, but right now, this is dangerous to trade, guys. And, you know, although you might come to a session, and that's why we've called them live sessions rather than live trading, because sometimes it's, as Dylan said, no trade is the best trade. You need direction. You know, trading is risky to start with. What you don't want to do is add to that risk by trading in a risky time. So if you know there's a big news event, you know, CPI event, whatever it's going to be, like we know in 40 minutes, there's a news event coming out. If you know there's a news event coming out, don't trade into that event. You know, if you're not, in fact, even if you're highly skilled, those wicks that come around at 2:30, which will be South African time today, will take most people out. So why even go into it? Stop thinking that you're going to be better than the market, because you have no idea what that news is going to be today. You know, we'll know at 2:30. So eliminate as much risk that you can in a risky situation. All trading is risky. Remember, this market is not there to give you money. This market is there to take your money. Remember, so they're looking for the suckers that are going to that are prepared to basically give up their bucks. So when you know things are stable and you know things are good, sure, you can enter. I mean, we're getting to places now where you can take nice trades, but you need that hell of a type stop loss in case you're wrong. You could get the buy of the week. However, it could be just carry on straight through there. So make sure if you're going to do it, you are getting very low risk entries, as it were, dipping into the zones, but be tight on your stop loss and just be out when the big news comes. Similar to casino, yeah, could at least improve your winning percentage, 100%.
I mean, I'm tracking Sol here, for example. Jay actually shorted this one. He basically caught the top here. So nice one on that. Moving down to the bottom portion of this wedge. So for me, I'm looking at reasons for Sol, you know, to bounce, and I see some horizontal support here. I see the 200-day MA, and I've got a 786 FIB. So, and I've got the stock starting to turn, or at least bottomed out. So, you know, if I'm looking for longs on Sol, I'm going to look down here. Anything about 21.6 down to this 200-day 20.9 could be worth a look if we get that low. And then if I was longing from there, I'd look to exit sort of under support. So we're going to see what happens when it gets down here, but you'd want to sort of exit under one of those regions there. Depends what sort of leverage and how you're playing it. The 200 days a nice area too. So you maybe want to exit just below that. Yeah, so keep your eyes on Sol. I don't think it's ready yet. I think give it some time to move a bit lower.
Bill, just before you go off of that chart, just picking up one of the questions there from Ryan Burton. He's saying, like, are support and resistance blocks just guesstimates? So I want you just to speak to that. Like, why did you draw that box there? Was it a guesstimate?
Yeah, so the first thing I look for is like horizontal. I like to look for levels. You know, if I see a cluster of levels like this on the 8 hour, I know that this was big resistance before, and we haven't come back down to test it yet. So for me, it tells me if we come down to this area, we're going to react. There's no guarantee it's going to bounce, but for me, I know that there's going to be a reaction here. So that's a level for me. Then I look at other things. I've got the 200-day.
Dylan, before you move off there, just remember, guys, so if Dylan puts a order into that block, he needs to think about a stop loss also. You don't want to have a stop loss that is too far away from your order, especially if you're in leverage. So Dylan, just talk us through your stop loss. Where would your stop loss be?
Yeah, so I mean, if I'm longing Sol here for me, so you know, I'd look at this region. We can't be exact. I can't give you an exact to the cent area where Sol's going to bounce or react, but I know that this region is generally going to be a decent area where something's going to happen. Okay, just the same way I knew something was going to happen up here because we've got a 618 fib. Okay, so we know, let me just zoom in here for you. So just by pulling that fib already, if you were looking for a position on Sol, you would have known that you could have maybe taken a risky move here to catch this bounce. There's no guarantee that it's obviously going to go up. There's other factors at play, but we know that at certain areas, things happen. So Sol's reacted on this 618 fib. But for me, it's not enough.
If it comes into the green block, you got two things there. You got a major support line on the daily, plus you got that green support block.
Yeah. So
your
I've
stop
got
loss would be below
the
that
786 fib.
Yeah.
And I've got the 200-day, and I've got a horizontal. So that tells me that that's a stronger area for me than just the 618 fib on its own. So to long a 618 fib is quite a risky play, obviously. You need other factors. So I've got 3 reasons here why I think something should happen there. If not, it's going to become a hell of a resistance zone at a later stage. So if we rip right through this, that's going to be my TP later if I'm long.
Yeah, so I think the important word that you're using there is confidence. You know, you've got to, you know, you've been going through the TA school and you're working out all these indicators. What is TA giving us? It's giving us clues. As I said to you, it's like a puzzle. So the more pieces of the puzzle you can look at, like that particular area that Dylan's pointing out at the bottom there. I mean, you've got a trend line, you've got a proper support resistance block or an order block, for want of another word. And you've got stochastics on your side. So you've got 3 things already that are on your side in that area. This is on higher time frame. I mean, Dylan's here on 8 hour.
8 hour.
Yeah. So if you really are interested in that area, what you then need to do is start, when it gets to that area, you now need to start zooming down in your time frame. Unless you're a long-term trader and you're happy just to take anywhere in that area. But if you're really trying to scalp along or you're trying to leverage along, you need to have that on the higher time frame first, and then zoom in to the lower time frame to decide, right, I'm going to take this trade on a 15-minute, for example, and then go and look at what's happening on the 15, because you also need to get the confidence there, and that will be your best chance of an entry. And remember what I'm saying, chance of an entry. Nothing is in trading is guaranteed, guys. Remember that. Nothing. It's all about probabilities. Your highest probability is there. But your stop loss, you could be wrong. Your stop loss is going to take it away. You know, your stop loss, if it falls, so what? It means nothing that you're a bad trader. Nothing at all. You've done everything in your power to ensure a good trade. If it goes the other way, so be it. Look for the next one. Yeah,
and just, you know, manage your stop loss sizes. Sometimes you need to let these things breathe a bit. You'll often see like deeper wicks and then a quick move back up. And I mean, there's no worse feeling than getting caught in a little wick down. And then you look back 10 minutes later and you think you're in profit and you've actually been stopped out. It's the absolute worst. So, you know, you got to leave things, give things a bit of space. That's why I'm not like a major sort of 1 minute candle fan, you know, because these things can move so quickly. So,
You must understand something is that the retail trade and bot trades that are out there, they know where our stop losses are. They know there's liquidity there.
yeah.
So they can go and fetch that. And another thing that I want to actually dispel on the Zoom call now, you know, and I heard it a lot yesterday, although I wasn't listening live, but I was getting bits and pieces of it. You know, when you get these so-called like scammy wicks, you know, people say like the exchange liquidated me out. Understand something, guys. The exchange that's exactly what it is, whether it be Bybit, Binance, KuCoin, OKX, whatever it is. They are merely a platform to facilitate traders. They have no interest in liquidating you because then they lose you as a client. I mean, think of any normal business outside of trading. You want to hold onto your clients, okay? And so do all the exchanges they want. And so they give us as many tools as possible to help you. To say that the exchange licked me out is absurd. Because what is the point to them of losing a customer? They want you as a customer long-term because they earn tiny little trading fees off of every single trade. So rather than just blaming the exchange wicked me out, you've got to think further behind that, okay? What is it? Is it whales? Is it bots? Whatever. They're the ones that understand what's going on. So blaming the exchange is very unfair, and I really wanted to put it out in support of all the exchanges out there, that they really do want to make you successful and offer you as many tools as possible to actually do it. So just bear that in mind.
Yeah.
We don't know who those institutions are. Someone right there, who the institutions that are working around. We don't know who the institutions are, but they know. If you look at that exact trade that Dylan's got there, Dylan, you would enter that trade. Just go back to where you were.
Sorry, we just had load shedding it. 1 sec.
The joys, eh?
Sorry, 1 sec.
So if you go and look while Dylan's loading that up there, so you can do all the TA planning that you want. And we had that order block or that order box there, and you can plan your entry. And Jason said to Dylan just now, where would you place your stop loss?
Oh, sorry, yes.
Where would you put your stop loss? Let's just say you decide to enter on that 200-day moving average that's there. Now you've got a trend line, you've got stochastics on your side, you've got the 200-day moving average. Where are you going to put your stop loss?
So yeah, look, it depends on what you're trading and how you're trading. If you're running a 20x account, I mean, if you use a 5% stop, you're basically wiping your account, right?
Yeah.
You're losing 100% of your funds. So you know you got to balance, you got to mix that as well with the type of risk you want to take. So like a decent size stop is normally say 2 to 3%, but this will be like a low leverage situation, and then you're going to look for a move higher. So for me, I would look, as a max, I'd look at something back up there. But how I would look for areas is I'd pull a fib from the top to the zone where I think it's going to bounce, and then I'll look at these sort of areas here, and these will become my TP zones. So this is how I would sort of set it up there. And then I would see if that ties in with a nice little trend that I could monitor. So we just take that out. So obviously I'd expect something like this to start happening. So I'd look for that and make its way up there. And we'll see what happens. We could then just break out and go.
Okay, but what's important here that I'm wanting everyone to is look how carefully Dill's like planning out this trade. But the first thing that he put in place was he put on where he would put his stop. Now, any whale stroke institution understands this. They know if you're on a 10x leverage, that you cannot drop more than 10%, eh? To wipe your account. So they know
yes, that a lot of these exchanges, you'll probably find like an 8x move is going to liquidate you on a 10x leverage. Or if you're trading 20x, don't think you've got a 5%, like 5% leeway. They're going to liquidate you at about 4 because they got to cover their costs. If there's a big wick, they don't want to go into a loss.
Yeah, but my point is that the institutions know that your stop loss is lying there. So they know there's guaranteed liquidity, okay? They know there's guaranteed liquidity there. So it's easy for them to, for the relatively small amount of money, they know if they can drop the price into that zone, okay, you are going to liquidate, and they can grab that liquidity.
Yeah.
So
just basically, I don't think I've even answered that properly for you there with regards to stop. So here's the 786, here's the 200-day, and here's the trend. So, you know, I'd look to start cutting just under there. For me, you know, obviously, if you're a spot trader or you have a different strategy, you know, that's, you know, I'm just giving you what would work for me, obviously, in a situation like this.
So there's an interesting question there from, sorry, I know a lot of guys are sending me direct messages, but I literally can't watch them all. So it's better to put them into the main chat and we can get comments on them. But I'll just take the first one from Roger. It says, so how do you avoid long liquidity wick candles? Unfortunately, there's not much you can do, you know. You can either try and take a chance of not running a stop, okay, and so until your trade gets into profit, or you have to understand, and that's what, and this is the point that I'm getting through to you, is that it's okay to be stopped out. It doesn't mean anything about you as a trader. In fact, being stopped out, I mean, I'm the worst one for it. Jay's really good at it. Jay stops out early and often. Is so important for your long-term survival. You know, remember,
look at this example. So like,
example.
This is Coco's. So, I mean, it's a bit of a story. I don't even know fundamentally what the story is yet. It was just a good-looking setup. And like, if I longed this thing, you know, which I did, it broke out here, and I took a position. Okay, so let's say I took a position here. I would have normally, under normal circumstances, had my stop over here, but I actually didn't have a stop in it yesterday, and it ripped all the way down. My account turned absolutely red, and it bounced again, and fortunately I got away with it. But like the normal stop where you'd put it is under the daily, which is the most logical spot, or under the previous day. This thing wicked down 3 or 4 days. But now what's happened so often in crypto is that you can get a situation where it does that and it just doesn't bounce, and this thing keeps going, and you are finished. You know, it's going to wipe your account. So you got to take these hits, unfortunately, once it gets past your areas. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jay and Dylan, I mean, and you way more active and professional in it than what I am, is that initial part, especially of a leverage trade, that initial, and you see Sheldon grinding that entry, you know, to get that entry right through buying, selling, is just such a tough part of the process, for them to finally actually break free, where you can actually breathe and get your stop loss to entry. You know, but that initial grinding is a lot of work, Adol.
Yeah, no, you have to have patience. I mean, it's very easy to like try and jump in too early, you know, and you grab your position too early because you think, oh no, you know, you're gonna miss it. I mean, let's look at the Sol chart again, for example. You know, it's very tempting.
I'd like to stick with that example because
it's very tempting here.
That I want to bring out to you.
It's very tempting to long here. You know, look at this. We got these wicks up. It's a 618 fib. You know, maybe we're feeling confident when the market opens, it's going to be a bit green in the US. But more often than not, you know, it's not going to end up the way we expected. And it's because we can see these are the main areas. You know, you can see how long it battled this area, and it hasn't come back yet to touch it. So if I miss the Sol position, then I miss it. You know, there'll be another one. But for me, I'm going to wait. If Sol comes down here, I'm probably going to have a go.
So just go back to your Coco's trade that you had on the screen there, because there was just a point that I wanted to bring out, because I'm not sure that everyone quite understands this, and leave it, you know, maybe even just zoom in a little bit more. So we often say, and you hear everyone talking about the fact that the institutions or the whales or whatever, just leave the stop loss line there, that the institutions or whales are going to come and grab that liquidity. Like, and I'm not sure that people actually understand, what do they mean by grabbing the liquidity? What does it mean? I mean, I'm happy to explain it. I don't know if you want to give it a go, Dill.
I'm going to let Jay handle that one. 20% candle here.
Okay, so you muted there, Jay.
Sorry, I lost you there. What were you saying?
So I'm saying, so let me just explain it. So let's just say, Dill, you took a long, let's just say when you broke the trend line, okay? And just use an arbitrary place there when you broke the trend line. And I'm talking leverage here, guys. I'm not talking spot, okay? But to a certain extent, it does. But you know, as I always say, the level that you are leveraged at. So in other words, if you're at a 5x leverage, a 10x leverage, or whatever, the higher you go up in leverage, the higher your emotions, it affects your emotions by that exact number, 5 times the emotions, 10 times the emotions, 20 times the emotions. Remember that. Don't think, oh, well, at school I'm going to go. That's why these guys that take 50x, 100x, I've got no idea how they remain sane, let alone anything else. But bottom line is, at that point there, let's just say right on that line there where Dill is now, you decided to take, and I'm using leverage as an example, you take a long. What does that mean? It means you betting on with the exchange, because remember, with the derivative specifically, you don't own the token. You're basically taking a bet. So you're taking a bet that the market is going to go up, long on Cocos coin. Okay. So as long as the candles are going up, you're actually making money. As soon as it gets back to your break even and starts pulling below your break even, you start drawing down. In other words, you start going negative, and it gets to a point where you can't deal with the pain anymore. And what have you got to do if you are long? You've actually got to sell it. You've got to get out. Hey, Dill, I'm right. You've got to sell.
Yeah.
What are you doing when you sell? They are waiting there to do what? To buy. They know there's guaranteed liquidity. They know there's plenty of sellers at that point. Okay, because these guys are sweating bullets, specifically over leverage, which is why I caution everyone so much against leverage. You're sweating bullets because, like, how much more loss can I take? And eventually decide, okay, I'm out. But these guys are waiting there with their buy orders, and they grab that liquidity and they push it up. And so how often do you see exactly that situation that all wicks in, causes max pain for and it's, you know, that pain. I know that
this
pain.
is a liquidation
that pain, eh?
I mean, no, it's terrible. I mean, and like it happens, and you just got to wear this. You know, you want to play leverage, you got to take the good and the bad. Just make sure when the good comes, you take advantage. But I mean, this candle, you can see it's a liquidation candle. It's a 9% move. So, you know, even the 10x guys probably got liquidated here from their entry.
And you see,
I love the way people are writing in the comments like, who are those guys? Who are you talking about? We don't know who they are. They're whales. They're guys that are playing the game against us. Remember, this is, as I said, the market's not there to give you money, guys. The market is there to take your money.
Just remember that most of the coins follow Bitcoin. So what do? They play with Bitcoin. And we see it so often where Bitcoin is in a tight range of $500 and going sideways. And then they use what is called a whipsaw effect. So they'll push the Bitcoin price out of that range of that $500. And what does the retail do? They jump into that trade when they see the break, and then they'll let it go up a bit, and then they whipsaw it down through the top of that range, through the bottom of that range, liquidate all those longs. And then what happens once you see price break below that range? Then you climb into a short. So they'll bring it down and then they'll shoot it back up again. So they liquidate both the longs and the shorts. But because they're playing with Bitcoin, you'll see the same effect in the altcoins too. So they're liquidating people right across the crypto market.
Yeah,
guys, here's another example.
Open up another tab there and just put Darth Maul candle. Just Google it and look at the images. I want you guys to see it because, I mean, it's like such a common event because it just... Yeah, candle, yeah. And then just go to images when you get an answer. What I want to say is it's just so...
Is this what you're looking for?
yeah, it's exactly what I'm looking for. But just scroll down and see on the images, look there, and see if there's more images of it.
There we go.
Where's images, not all these descriptions, just pictures of it. Chat images. And I mean, and that candle literally comes in to destroy, you know, because there's nothing you can do. That whipsaw that Jason was talking about, and the Bing is not giving the greatest of examples of images there, but anyway. And, you know, it literally comes in to destroy because it wipes longs and shorts. I mean, there's literally nothing you can do about it. You know, it's just one of those real heavy manipulation plays that costs a lot of money for someone to do, but if they've got the money to do it, they can literally manipulate this market whichever way they want, you know.
Go and have a look at Bitcoin. Go from, and I'm looking at the chart here, go from the 20th of March through to the 9th of April. You can see it up and down.
20th of
Go
March.
on the go on the 4 hour. You can see that whipsaw effect there, where they've pushed price down, pushed price back up again.
Yeah. I mean, jeez. This thing right here.
So you're trading sideways on a fair value line, and then suddenly they push price up, everybody climbs in, then they whip it down. And then they whip it back up again.
Yeah. So I think, you know, the idea of what we're talking about here, guys, it really is education that we're talking about here. I want you guys to be informed. I don't want to scare you, but I want you to be informed. Why do you need to be informed? It's so that you stick with the plan. Have I got stop losses? Have I got my TPs? Am I managing my trade? Don't just expect everything to go your way and that this market is just there to give me some money every day. It's not. You got to go and fight for your money, you know. It's literally is the way, market manipulation. Imran is writing there, 100%.
So here's something interesting just to note. This is Gala. And I mean, we talk about the trend as your friend, etc., all the time. But, you know, here's a perfect example of, you know, how many touches we had. And then we had a touch on the trend tying in with a horizontal level here. And we had a 382 fib, which was pulled up there. Sorry, I've got something in my way here. So it was pulled to this high over here. So it all gave signs that this was a good area where we could get a bounce. You know, and fortunately, Gala's bounced there, and the stochastic.
Always remember that longer term trends, in other words, that's a long trend line. The longer they are, the stronger they are. So you would always favor the long-term trend over a short-term trend. And same with support and resistance. Makes them very solid. It gives you more surety that something's actually going to happen. Long trend lines still. I see Max is wanting to jump on. First of all, Jackie, did you get a result on that on the survey you did?
No, unfortunately, the polls aren't working today. We need to go troubleshoot what's happening with Zoom. So unfortunately, I'm not able to run that poll.
No problem. And just for everyone else to know, again, Sheldon is the reason you're sitting with the OGs here.
Bitcoin's breaking down.
Breaking down. Go look. Good, Max. Welcome.
Cool. Well, I had a potential trade set up, but that's just been invalidated, so we caught it off.
Okay, so we've made a lower low, Dill.
Yeah.
Important.
So now let's watch and see what happens here.
So you've always, sorry, while you're busy setting that up, guys, always remember lower lows, lower lows, higher highs. Such an important thing too. Once you make a lower low, the market's shown its intention. I want to go down, you know.
But what we could also see, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but what you can see from a position like this is as soon as you lose a low, if you go and we've broken down now, if we come directly up and we start closing above levels that we've broken, that's a big sign of a reversal and buyers stepping in. So you got to just watch these zones quite carefully and see what happens.
Yeah, you can't make a
When's the news out, guys? At 12:30 in 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. And as an example, we'll go to the Dow at 2:30 and we'll literally watch it live on like a 3-minute candle and watch the impact. I mean, it's not that big an event, but it's reasonably big. We've got, I think, unemployment claims coming in, but nonetheless, it's flagged as red, and you'll get the understanding of what I'm talking about. So on the 15 minutes, you've got a nice pin drop down there already. So, like, is this one of the whipsaws that we were talking about? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if this comes back. Max, you're quite dark there. I don't know if you've not got a light on you or, yeah, they're much better. Yeah, you're like you were looking like the Darth Vader there. That had the.
Yeah, so I'm going to sort out a camera and a bit of lighting and stuff this week.
So look at that candle. Okay, we've still got time off there, but I mean, look at that candle already. Are we forming that pin drop right now? I'm not saying we're not going to go back and fill that space, which we invariably do, but
It's almost like a pre-market sort of move here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like to fake people in the wrong direction, obviously, first.
You'll definitely see it, especially around it, like at 2:29 in 9 minutes, like a minute before the trade. You'll see the people trying to preset. I see one of the mods posted a nice thing at the leverage, what percentage move would actually liquidate your account. Nice little chart that's been put.
So we touched on that earlier, like a 20x in theory is a 5% move to lose 100% of your capital, but the exchange generally would probably close your positions out at about, I would guess, 4%. If this, we might have to get the exact figures from them, but it's not 5. So don't think you've got a 5% window. It's going to be 4, because if we get those hard wicks, they're going to market sell you.
And don't forget that if you've got any cash sitting in there in USDT, they can actually take that also.
Yeah, watch your cross margin. I mean, it is nice to have cross margin if you know what you're doing, but remember, it's, you know, every time you take one of these other tools, your risk, exponentially goes up. Interesting to see the survey result they did on YouTube there. 34% of people long, 6% short, 69% waiting. So I hope those are people from here. In other words, rather wait and see, as you said, no trade is sometimes the best trade. I mean, I'm loving the look of that candle right now.
Yeah, a lot of my alts that I've been watching are kind of lighting up at the moment, or at least waking up.
Well, you can see VET here is sort of still dancing around in this area, which I've marked. Definitely something to watch there. We got Matic still reacting nicely here in this area.
All wick, nobody. Yeah, I don't know who wrote that, but someone excellent. Can we look at Ada? Max, I don't know if you...
Yeah, Max, go for it.
Okay, before I go, I just want to say to everyone, if you're not comfortable, don't take trades. It's not financial advice. I am looking at entering some long positions quite soon, but that's just me personally. Like we've said with the team, we had a very, very critical stage right now on the charts. We've got a bit of news coming out, so anything can happen right here. For me personally, I feel like if there is a bouncing zone, this is it. If we're going any lower from here, we're going to go quite a bit lower. So for me, the invalidation is quite tight, which makes the stop loss nice and tight for me. So I'm going to take potential trades later on if they present themselves. But I will share my screen and show you guys what I'm looking at.
Quite nice to look at, before you jump into the coins, just quickly, Max, is just have a look at the Bitcoin dominance. Always, guys, when you're looking at the trades and that, always just keep your eye on the dominance. And I want to just explain it in terms of trading for you, so that you've got, I mean, I think you get what we said a little earlier about, if the dominance line is going up, money's in favor of Bitcoin. If it's coming down, it's in favor of your altcoins. So when you're about to look at a trade, I mean, I'm talking about way lower time frames. I mean, going to 1 hour even. Let's just have a look where we are now. So for the moment, what you can see is that although Bitcoin and that dropped, the money's actually moving back to the alts. You can see it straight away without even going into any of your coins. So Max, I'm quite keen to see what you've got to say. Just by looking at how that dominance is coming down, we know that money's now going out of Bitcoin back into the alts to have a look. So bear that in mind whenever you look, and especially when you're looking at any form of leverage trading. Keep a close eye. Is Bitcoin supporting my my trade, or am I in favor of the alts and what ETH is doing? So Max, go for it, bud.
Cool. Let me try share screen. I think whoever's sharing has to stop before I can share.
There you go.
Okay, cool.
I'm just quickly running just to grab a glass of water, and then at 29 minutes past, I want us to watch, or 29 minutes 30, I want to watch the opening of the stock market. So I'm going to leave you for a sec there, Max.
Okay, so let's just start with Bitcoin. I'm just on a very low time frame here. I've been tracking this momentum down for the last, it's been since early this morning. Actually, yesterday, we've been tracking down. Excuse me. And these were the lows that we set in. If we just go on a higher time frame, you can see it. It's the exact same zone that we've been chatting about the whole morning. So already over here, you can see we're sort of bouncing off the trend line that I've got in place. We're bouncing off the horizontal zones, and we're potentially breaking this downwards momentum that we've been going in relatively soon. So what I did then was I mashed a couple charts up, and I was just kind of having a look where the momentum was going, and everyone's sort of seen renders been cooking. And for me, the other indicator has been Gala Games. Gala's broken its trend already. A friend of mine entered this actually, so I was tracking it. I didn't get the entry, just so everyone knows. I missed out, but I was just tracking this in case. So I just wanted to see what was going on. But for me, Gala Games, you can already see the momentum's been going up, even though Bitcoin's coming down. So that's a bit of a sign that there's a bit of money moving into some of the alts, at least. If we look at render, we've got renders almost at the top again, while Bitcoin's been falling down, right? And then the trade that I'm potentially looking at taking is Theta. And the big reason is we've got this liquidity buildup right to the upside here. It's a really, really nice trend to follow and easy kind of breakout to catch. And then if we go on a higher time frame, you can see we also right on the major trend line at the bottom, we're basically touching it. We haven't quite got there yet, but we're very, very close. So this is a trade I've been waiting for. I spoke to Danny as well, Mama Sniper, and she was also looking at this morning, so gave me a bit more confidence. So the idea would be you would have to wait for the break of trend and a proper break of trend, because what happened earlier is I try to enter over here. You can see there's this little wick out, and I got stopped out once or twice. I had super tight stop losses just because Bitcoin was pulling down. So what I would do on this is I would wait for an hourly candle to close outside of this line. So if this body closes outside of the trend, I might consider entering this trade. And then I wouldn't target, guys, this is very, very short-term positions. I wouldn't target high simply because Bitcoin doesn't look very strong at the moment. And I think if we do bounce, we might not go all the way back up. So I would target to the top there, 5% potentially, and at most, okay, well, that's 10%. That's a pretty good trade. But to fill this big gap, this big candle over here, that's what I would be looking at if you wanted to enter the trade. Jace, I don't know, Dylan, what do you guys think?
Yeah, can you zoom out a bit? I just want to see on the 8 hour what things are looking like.
I don't have an 8 hour. I've got the free.
4 is good. 4 is good.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, so that's starting to tie in nicely. So we might get another move a little bit lower there. But if you believe that you trade a trend until it breaks, well, here's your trend. Look for some other things. I'd look for some fibs here. I'd maybe look at some daily or weekly levels, even if you can pick any of those up. But yeah, I mean, it's looking decent there on that trend as a starting point.
Yeah. So for me, I like these trends that have a whole bunch of touches that are quite close together. And the reason why these trades end up being so much more successful is if you think this person over here went short and people over here went short. So you got a whole bunch of stop losses that are really tight together. So as soon as the price starts moving and taking out these people, the price really gets accelerating. So you got a higher probability of a trade playing out when these trend line breaks happen, as opposed to like if we go to Gala Games, we've got 1, 2, 3 touches, and then the fourth one we broke out. So yeah, that's why I like the thing.
Well, remember that 88 trade that Sheldon looked at for shit. I mean, we probably looked at it for a few weeks. It was like slowly grinding down, like on the 8 hour or the 12
exactly.
hour.
It had that perfect.
And, yeah, it was such like a perfectly like tight trend coming down, and then it blew up quite nicely.
Exactly. Actually, we had an example of it yesterday. It wasn't so great on render. We were looking at this during the live stream with Sheldon, and we were actually telling the guys to not take the trade because they were too late. But I just want to go over it maybe quickly. So what we had seen with Sheldon, as we were starting to talk about it, render had taken off and we were at this position already up here. And we told the guys, you're too late to enter. Look at render's range. I mean, just from here, if you had entered, you had a 3% stop loss. With leverage, you're going to get wrecked. Right. So we told the guys, you can't FOMO. The only time you could enter this trade is if we came back and we retested these highs. And look how it came back perfectly and it tested the highs. So this is just a nice example of don't FOMO, wait for your opportunity. If it comes back, you could take a crack at it. Otherwise, leave it, look for the next trade.
Do you want to switch on to the like the Dow or something and put it on like 3 minutes and just see how news plays out, just so everyone can see out of interest?
Okay. I don't know if someone else wants to share. I don't have dial on mine.
That'll
Well,
be
I
the
can
futures, the futures.
Yeah. Dylan, have you got it there?
Just, yeah, in the ticker, just go US 30.
No, you need to be quicker.
There we go.
Okay, 1 sec.
Yeah, Bitcoin is definitely starting to
Do your
push.
shot, bud.
There we go.
And go low, very low time frame. Go to like 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you want to see the impact of this news.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this looks interesting there.
What are you on? 15 minutes or 3?
15 minutes, US 30. Let's see what happens here.
Just look at that wick already. That's formed on while the market's
Yeah,
trying to do the information. I mean, that's a big wick. And that's what I want to show to people in terms of leverage trading. These news events,
There we go.
Wick like that. Look what's happening. I mean, that wick can take you, wicks like that take you out. And it does impact crypto, maybe not to the same extent, but the bigger the news, the more it impacts crypto. So I'm not sure what Bitcoin's doing on a lower time frame. Max, if don't share, just say. Is it also whipsawing?
It's pushing up quite hard. There's quite a long wick to the bottom side, huh?
So yeah, so if you share maybe your Bitcoin on a same 3 minute, the reason I wanted to zoom inside small, I don't know if that's just trading, is just to show you the impact of news. And if you're in a leverage trade specifically, it stuffs you up.
Mm.
I mean, look at that wick that we had earlier. Remember, we said short while ago, Max.
But now also bear in mind, the minute we started dropping this low, you get late shorters and they come in and start shorting here.
Yeah.
And this is where they, that creates a little squeeze back up.
So I hope everyone's actually just seeing the impact of news and why it's so important just to be so wary of taking a trade prior to news. Rather wait for the news,
So the news is out already. 245K unemployment versus forecast of 240.
235 versus
245 versus forecast of 240.
So if the unemployment numbers are higher, I know it's bad for the economy, but the market likes it because it means maybe they're not going to push up the interest rate. It's like bad news is good news and good news is bad news. Unfortunately, on the markets,
it's weird how it reacts like that. Yeah. Guys, here's this atom. If you've been on these lives, I've probably flashed this a couple of times. We've spoken about this one. I just wanted to cover again, how to look for support areas. So I just wrote these notes here, but same example as what I was looking at for Sol. This is a 8-hour. If you look at this thing on the daily, it's a massive trend that's been broken and it's retesting. And I've got the horizontal. I've got strong daily horizontal. I've written resistance here. That was resistance. It's now a support zone. And we've got the 200-day MA again, and we've got the trend line, and we got the 618 FIB. So, from a sort of a low lev, sort of bigger move view, I'm looking at this area for some longs here. But this is not a 20x situation.
Okay, guys, I hope you've been liking this sort of format. I just want to know in the chat, everyone liking it. We've had a bit more time just to spend on more detail. I want to know if you're loving it. Okay, Max, maybe you should look at some of your trades there, but they're loving it. Okay, loving the content. Okay, because at least it does give us a bit of time just to deep dive into some of the details,
Yeah, is there anything somebody wants us to cover specifically?
Let's just see what Max has got in trades as well. Love. Sheldon's ill today. Just if you haven't caught that, picked up on that, you missed his show. Actually, see if I can get an update.
I'm not sharing right now, but
You can share.
we kind of Okay. Dill, you got to
Nick, do you wanna
unshare
see it?
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I can do that. Okay. Sweet. I don't know if you guys can see.
Well, breaking the
Yeah.
trend line to the upside. Someone,
It's tickling. It's tickling. I don't know. It's come from quite low. So let's just see what's happening here. But we could easily, guys, we could easily see a big reversal off this. So just be
Level.
careful. Let's just wait and see what's going to happen. Data is also, it's poking its neck out the trend, but this is not a breakout, guys. You have to wait for confirmation first. And then I think Chris, one of the other mods he was on earlier, he said that AVAX was looking good. So let me just pull that trade up.
Yeah, I think
AVAX, look at that. So it's a similar.
If you're there, I
Hey?
think you want to shows trade. You're welcome to jump on. Jackie, maybe you can spotlight it. Chris, if you're there, I'm not sure.
Is he still here?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I think he said he had load shedding, but let's check
Yeah.
quickly. I'm looking for
Chris,
him.
you don't know. He doesn't have load shedding. He's in the States.
No, other Chris.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
SA Chris. So this is quite a similar setup to the theta trade where we've got pretty close to the trend line, almost a touch here. And we're bouncing. So this is oh, there we go. AVAX is sort of breaking out, guys. This is still not confirmed. Just we have to clear these highs for a proper breakout to have occurred. So
And another indicator is volume there, Max. Yeah, so we need to keep an eye on the volume at the bottom there. So if we got low volume, there's a good chance that it reverses, it comes back into the structure.
yeah. I think everything's just sort of waiting for Bitcoin to make a decision here. It's very close. But not quite yet.
So Eden is saying, so when would you enter? What's your comment there, Max?
In all honesty, if you're going to enter, I would say this is probably your moment. Just because if we do start running, you're probably going to get a late entry up here, which is maybe not a bad thing. At least the trade's confirmed, but your risk is going to be 2.6%. So you guys are going to have to go very low leverage with this one. I wouldn't go more than 3x. But yeah, I still think there's a chance that Bitcoin swings around here. I would want to see this. What do we got? Let's go. We're on a 15 minutes. If in 7 minutes, if this 15 minutes can close above this level over here, I'd be happy.
Are you taking the trade?
I am technically already in.
Okay, good.
Cool. But guys, not financial advice.
Fire it up, man.
And my stop loss is already in, guys. So I've got a stop loss. It's going to be underneath this candle over here. I'm keeping it super tight. I don't want it to come back in here. So I'm underneath this 50-minute candle. Oh, wait, sorry, we're in Bitcoin. Yeah. Okay, so I'm underneath this candle over here.
All seem to be making a nice move. I mean, I'm just having a look. Link, Solana, they all have done similar moves. Matic, they're all very similar structure at the moment.
And guys, what I would do is I wouldn't enter my full position here, and I haven't done it. So I've only entered a portion over here, and I'll try and get the rest in if we get a nice retest. I'm not going degen here. I'm a bit skeptical, but this is looking good.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the feedback here, guys. Yeah, it seems like they enjoyed the session too, so it's good. Glad everyone enjoyed that.
Okay, well, let's see. Obviously, now it's time to possibly look at trades. I don't know if any of the mods are there seeing something you want to jump on.
Yeah, geez, things are turning green here quickly.
Very. But you know, you get to that point, and that's an important thing to understand. When we were at that low, and especially when you had that wick, just think of the chat that was happening there. Bitcoin's dropped the low. Everyone suddenly gets nervous. Now, only the brave are really ready then to actually take an entry right there, you know, because it's then you're at the point of like, is this thing going to go up or down? So,
yeah, and look, and remember, like any big green candles after a move like this is just also, you know, it could just be a squeeze scenario. So don't get sort of overexcited until we see a proper shift. Yeah.
Yeah, as you say, you've got to get above those highs for any reasonable form of motion.
Nothing is confirmed yet, guys. This could swing around and just get us wrecked super quickly. So just be careful. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing. Yeah, you see Bitcoin's already reacting off this level. So we got to watch this. Next 4 minutes should tell us what we want to know. Yo, Shauno.
I've just been scrolling through the 15 minutes and looking at the 5-minute charts. Nothing has broken the previous high yet, apart from Ethereum seems to have broken the previous high on the 15. Everything else is still below.
Right, it's definitely looking right now interesting.
There is a little bit of volume backing it, but we are fighting here. But this is how trading goes, guys. You got to have a crack at it every once in a while. Otherwise, you end up sitting on the sideline too much and you might miss out. But it's all relative to your risk. If you can manage your risk properly, you can take trades.
Is that your entry line? Is that your entry line there, Max?
Yeah, I got out as it was poking its head through. So I'm somewhere over here. But I would enter anywhere in this box. But I think, guys, I would still wait. I would wait till we clear this. I would rather confirm that we're going to clear these highs before you get in on this position. So let me move the box up. You're allowed to get in over there, maybe. Let's just see what Bitcoin's going to do, because it's looking like we're rejecting.
Okay, looks like people are saying algo confirmed, maybe dot.
Let's have a look at algo here. I had a setup earlier that I was looking at.
Who's sharing? Am I still sharing? Do you want to share?
Yeah, let me share my screen. It's just something I was looking at earlier.
Here we go.
So before we came on, I was just looking.
What enough here, Adel?
Yeah, no, it's the best. It's the absolute best. I mean, we could see this area we were going to get some kind of reaction. There's no guarantee, obviously, that it's not like, it doesn't mean it automatically bounces to this range high. But, you know, if Bitcoin behaves a little bit here, you know, my first TP zone on this algo long is 0.21, somewhere there, I'd look. And the reason being is this is a horizontal area where it's been support before. So now, obviously, it's going to be resistance. And then, yeah, the next area would be a retest perhaps of this trend, you know, where we'd maybe start looking for shorts potentially. And also look out for a fake out again into that old resistance band. So yeah, as far as algo is concerned, like I like it as a long from these areas. But this is a low left play. This is, you know, this is a daily candle. So this is like, you know, you can put a spot position, small position, look for a bigger move rather than a big position on, you know, a few minute candles and you know, looking for a small move. This at least allows you to sleep a bit at night.
You love your higher time frames, and it's amazing to see, you know, as I always say, the higher you go up on the OG ranking, the lower your propensity is for high risk plays.
I've done the sleepless nights, you know, I've done the 3 a.m. waking up, checking my phone.
Just have a look at Link there, Dylan. I'm just looking at that. A look at Link. And there was a comment there from Ganka saying if he's got Bitcoin, how does he buy or USDT? No, you don't have to go to Bitcoin and then buy Theta. You go straight from USDT. That you should know, but
look at this. I mean, this is great. So let's just take a look what Link's actually done here. Okay, so we tracked this trend at the top here. You can see I picked it up from here. We knew we were going to hit that one. I mean, we hit that one. Then that gave us a guide as to where we could look for an exit point or perhaps a short. And you can see once it took off from this area here, so we had resistance, broke through, retest, sort of consolidated a bit, and then it got sent. Rejection there, and where's it bounced? After all that, it's bounced again, it's tested old resistance, which is now support. So that's something to always look out for. And then the higher the time frame, you know, the stronger the area. There's probably a fib floating around here too that we could look for. Let's have a look. Yeah, look at that. I mean, this is like a dream setup, right? I haven't been watching Link, but I mean, we've got the 382 fib, which is a nice area, and we've got old resistance turning into support, and we've got these stocks down here, which are slowly looking to reset.
But we had that exact setup on ETH. We also had that we held the 382 last night. Exactly. And the trend line and everything, you know.
So yeah, I mean, I hope that gives you an idea of how we look for things and how we play them out. And then there's another area here, the 200-day. So it's the 200-day and the horizontal. So if we lose this, I'm looking for a range play there. So my next long would be down here.
Max, you seeing anything else, bud?
Sure, I'm concentrating hard, yeah. But Bitcoin, it closed below on the 15, but the next candle is pushing outside. So let's just see what happens. We'll give it another 15 minutes, but it is starting to push now. Data's playing out really nicely as well.
Nice. Somebody in the comments was asking about Matic. So we were looking at this on a higher time frame. You can see I've been tracking this trend from down here, January is here. So third bounce on this trend, it's safe to assume something's going to happen, you know, and we've had a reaction. I'll just check how Atom's doing. Okay, Atom's looking great. Dot, this is Sheldon's chart. You can see Dot, you know, after all that, it's still back in the, in a good area. Yeah.
So the question is, anyone wanting to look for trades? Are there trades? Or
so look, for me, yeah, I'm in Matic and Atom, small size. I'm looking for like say a 5 to 7% move on these guys. Then we're going to reassess. Yeah, I wouldn't hold too long. You know, we're going to look for something like this, you know. So at some point there's going to be a rejection that we need to look out for. So yeah, just keep an eye on this one. Max, you were saying?
Yeah, can I just share chart one more time? I think we're going to close the meeting relatively soon. But what I would say
before you do that, Jackie, while we've got people here, I just want to know if people are in any of these meme coins or not. I'd love to know if people are trading the memes or not, just out of personal curiosity. I don't know if you can put up a poll or even if it's on YouTube, Jackie.
Let's
I'm
try
talking
YouTube.
about the Peppies, the Chads, what are they called? I mean, there's a chunk of them. Wojak, Aped. I would like to know, are people playing this play? Okay, I suppose you could kind of SHIB. No. SHIB only. Peppy. Okay, interesting. No memes. Okay, most people definitely not. Okay, cool. Looking good
Okay.
there.
Yeah. So I just wanted to show people everyone just two things that I'm gonna just I suppose teach quickly is you need to, when you're looking at trades, you don't only look at candlesticks, you also look at the candlestick closes. So for instance, if we look, the time now is 10:02 in South Africa, right? That means we're going to have an hourly close candle in the next 10 minutes. So if this candle closes above the last one, these highs, that's a very, very bullish sign that price is reversing. So you can look at price action, and then you also need to keep in mind, yeah, it's a golfing candle, exactly. So you can keep in mind which candlestick is closing. If it's a 4 hour, it's even got more weight. If it's a daily, it's got more weight. So more powerful, sorry. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at trades. So I would say if this next, in the 10 minutes, if this hourly candle closes above here, we're going to be good. Here we go. Okay. It's looking good. The other thing I wanted to show you was look at this last 15-minute candle over here. Look how it broke out and it came and stuck back in, right? Everyone can see that the candle didn't close outside the trend. If we go down on time frames, you can see the same things playing out, right? Check, we broke out, and that's just a retest. So on your time frames, the same moves happen over and over and over. It's just you're looking at it on a smaller and smaller and smaller scale. So it'll always, the charts play out exactly the same on all time frames. So whether you're a big time frame trader or a low time frame trader, you're looking at the same data. But this trade's looking good.
Okay, obviously, Max, there's no RAN show because he's flying. I don't think there's a RAN show anyway. And I don't know if there's other mods here that want to step in and carry on running for a while. I think Bruce is there. I don't know who else is there. Sean is there. Not many mods are available at the moment.
We could also move to Discord, fire up one of the stages and move there.
It's fine to keep this running. I mean, everyone's here right now, and you're going to lose a ton of people if you move.
Yeah, so chat's confirmed there's no show for run today.
Okay, people are saying carry on, please. Okay, so I unfortunately need to jump. Who can jump on here with you? I don't know, Dill, what's your timing like?
Yeah, I'm going to run shortly. I've got a request for an ADA, so I'm going to look at the ADA chart quickly, and then I've got to bounce.
I can hop in with Max for a bit longer after that.
I don't mind sitting here.
I
want backup. So which are the other mods are there? Let me just make sure I'm on the group.
Cool. And I will manage this trade with you guys. If we want to sit here for another hour, I can help manage it. And if things are turning sour, I'll get us stopped out quicker. So we don't lose money. But yeah, it's looking great.
Okay, I'm just going to share my screen.
You're starting to get a high there on your first. So you've achieved almost your first level there.
Yeah, for sure. We got another 7 minutes for this candle to close.
Okay, guys, I'm going to bounce. So I'm getting more people to come and support you there. Sean's camera's off, I know that, but you can chat.
Jackie,
yes.
There's a gent called YL or a lady called YL. Can you see if you can find them, and we can just chat through this ADA?
Okay, she's in the chat right now.
They're asking about the ADA if they want to talk about it.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed today. Just while I jump off, I mean, it's exactly how I want it, because sometimes I think we can dig a little bit deeper into things, and there was some real power learning today. I hope you guys took a lot from it. So I will, and Sheldon's still not looking very good at all. I've just spoken to one of his mates, so he's not great. So I think he just needs to get. I think he's basically burnt out to me, you know.
Yep.
Okay, guys, still keep up that.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks,
cheers,
everybody.
Craig.
Thanks, OGs.
Thank you.
Cheers, Zach.
Cheers, big dogs.
Thank you. Hey,
Thanks,
Max.
guys.
Jackie,
Appreciate
did
it.
you find them?
Yeah,
So-
she's late right now.
Hey, Max.
Up, Brucey boy.
Hey, yeah, I'm late into the party because I just woke up, but I'm
Gotcha.
in the Matic trade. Could you take a look at it for me?
I think Chris is, Dylan's got it. I just want to
Yeah,
save you for
Dylan.
Dill. You can flip to it.
Do it.
Yeah,
or I
we're
can
just
do
going
it.
to run through this ADA.
Okay.
Does he or she want to talk to us? YL, Jackie?
She's unmuted, or P.
Hello? Are you there?
Now they're muted.
By the way.
Okay, no, well, let's take a look at ADA. This is the 4 hour. So let's see what's going on. Okay, so we've got it's trending down the side. Okay,
Ooh.
there we go. Let's look for some support. This is definitely an area to look at. This is an interesting zone down here for me. Okay, so just from the daily perspective, this is interesting. I've got about almost four touches there as a resistance area. If we go back, okay, so what's happened with ADA is it's lost this daily area. Yeah. Okay, so it's actually quite a decent sort of resistance zone. So we need to watch that one. So we want to see ADA climb back up here and then make its way up there. We've got old resistance again turning into support. So yeah, we want to see what happens here. It could very easily come here and test this area again. So would I exit ADA? You long ADA currently, I think. Yeah, so I'd look to exit. If we start breaking down this below this area, I'd start cutting the position. I wouldn't say, wipe the whole thing entirely, but you want to start trimming sort of under here just in case we head to this lower region. Is YL available? YL, are you there? Jackie, is she there? I can't hear you, no. Okay, so look, I hope that helps. 0.4, so say just below this region, you want to start looking at cutting, if I was you. Somebody was asking about Matic.
Sorry, Doc.
That was
No, I haven't
That was
seen
me
it.
asking about it, Dylan.
Was that you?
Yeah, it's Bruce asking about it.
Yeah. How's it? Yeah, so this is, I'm looking at Matic on, quite a high time frame.
Okay.
So this was my sort of area. Are you in along at the moment?
Yeah, I'm on the 15 looking for something short, but I wanted to see what I missed what you'd done earlier. So
yeah, so bigger picture for me, yeah, I'd look maybe at cutting a little bit over here if we lose this
Sorry,
region.
Dylan. Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt, but somebody posted Dixie DXY dumping hard, and I just opened up the chart. There's massive red.
Well, that's good for us. That's good for us.
You want to have a quick look?
Yeah, here it is, 4 hour.
sweet.
Yeah, it's rejected
big a
here
dump, but-
once again.
Yeah, if you look at the lower time frames, it's massive.
So yeah, there you go. Cool. Lower high. So yeah, we want to break down below this region here. Joe, any red on the Dixie is good for us. Okay, gents, I'm going to hand over to you. I need to run. Who's there still?
So we've got
Who we got?
Max, we've got Sean, and we've got Bruce, and then
I'm
I
here.
am still in the background as well.
Okay, cool, guys. It was good chatting.
Thanks, Dol. It's always a pleasure
Dylan.
having you on
Appreciate
Trade
it.
with us.
Okay, man. Catch you later. Cheers, everyone.
To adult. All right. Jackie, can you set up polls or not?
No, Paul's feature is down for the day, unfortunately.
Okay, cool. Well, then pop in the chat who got in on that data trade. And if there's any other trades, I think we looked at that AVAX trade. Let me get my screen up.
Might be interesting to do Gala after Hustle's AMA last night. That token popped up quite a bit in our conversation as well.
So Gala, actually, the interesting thing about Gala was it broke out earlier. So, and it's got a really nice momentum line now that you can track. So any breakdown of this line, you kind of want to exit straight away. But obviously we're all too late for this one, unless you guys saw it earlier. But yeah, Gala broke this trend. It retested beautifully, and we're on our way up now. But yeah, too late for this one, guys. If you aren't in, you're gonna have to wait. Data, I would say, yeah, anywhere in this box you could still potentially enter. Let's just quickly measure the risk here. Yeah, you could enter low leverage, but we're pulling back now. Guys, another rule that I have for my trading is if you've got a trend line breakout, okay, and you break out, you want to clear these highs as quickly and as fast as possible, and you want to clear them by a nice margin. So if you make a little higher high like we've done now, I'm not saying that the trend's going to not continue to go up or anything, but when you break a high, especially when it's the first break, you want to go up quite high above it and come and retest the stone rather than just clearing it and then coming back under, because you've got a lot higher chance of getting stopped out if you've marginally cleared this high than if you break through the level properly. I hope that makes sense. So I got my alerts on now because I already feel like, okay, we have made the high. That's a good thing. We'll probably come down and retest. And let me just pull this box down because I don't want you guys to get in trouble here. So I want you to get in as close to the trend line break as possible. If we retest anywhere on the trend line, you guys can still get in or in this box. But I'm already moving my stop up on my trade. I'm de-risking already just in case. There's no point in getting stopped out for no reason if the market turns bearish.
So Max, someone in the chat asked the question just on your TA there. He was like, what do you mean by clear the high? So maybe draw it out with a level, like horizontal.
Cool. Okay, no stress. Okay, so so the first thing we look at is our trend line that we've got, okay, because that's our method of entry as a trend line break, like Sheldon teaches. Okay, and I'm saying the recent highs because these are high points in the chart, right? They're not the bottoms of the chart. We're looking at highs, not lows, right? So on the chart, we can look at the chart. Whenever you look at a trend line, we've got a higher high, we push down a lower high, right? A higher high, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, respective to the last price action that you've had, right? So every time you touch a trend line, you need to be setting new lows, okay? We touched over here, we did set a new low, but now we've broken trend. Okay, so this is already for me an ideal setup. You want to see something like this. If you had your trend line going like this, okay, and we had price action going like this, and we're going high, lower high. Geez, I'm getting confused now. Low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Okay, and then I like to see, oh my goodness, I like to see something like this go on where when you push down for the final time, okay, let's just do one more over here. When you touch that trend line for the final time, you set a higher low. Okay, so respective to this last trend line touch, you went lower there. This last touch over here, you set a higher low, and then you break out. You got a very nice chance of price pushing up. Okay, what's happened over here is the last time we touched the trend line, we set a lower low. Okay, so what is going to happen now with the price is it needs to come down and at some point set a higher low so that we could start trending in an upwards manner. Does that make sense? So the last price action that we can look at is these little highs over here, because they're the last touches on the trend line. So when we break out, we need to get higher. Let me just clean this up a bit. We need to get higher than this level. Bruce, please just help me if I'm not making sense, because I know I'm speaking a bit fast here.
You're making perfect sense, brother.
Okay, so this is the first little high over here that we needed to get past. We cleared it. Okay, here's the second one. We didn't clear this one yet. So that's going to happen hopefully. But we might see a trend line test, a proper one, on the 15-minute before we start going. Jackie?
Yes.
So you think that answers the question? Just check the chat for me there.
Checking the chat.
Cool.
Yeah, people saying it's making sense.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Is there any other charts you guys want to look at? I can pull up. So Bitcoin has broken out and it has closed a 15-minute candle outside of the trend. We've cleared these little highs over here. So this is looking decent for now.
Jason just dropped some interesting news in the chat there. I don't know if you guys saw the message, but he said yesterday Gala announced they're moving to Gala V2 coin to replace the current one.
Damn. I'm so bleak because I had an entry over here for this big move. And then we obviously pushed up and we cleared this. And I had my stop loss set somewhere in the middle here, just in case we came back down and I got wicked out. And then we pushed all the way back out. So I've lost my entry completely. Okay, let's have a look at a couple of those other charts. I think we were looking at AVAX potentially as well. Okay, so AVAX looks really nice. Guys, this is a proper one. It's too late to enter now. However, if we do come and retest, in that little box, you can look at an entry. But your risk is going to be quite big on this one. Okay, so it's also about 2%. So tight, low leverage. I wouldn't even go down as far as that. I would probably put my, let's have a look at an hour chart where the last hourly candle is. No, you have to go down the bottom there, unfortunately. So it's about a 2% risk there for AVAX, but that's quite a nice chart. What were you looking at, Brucey? Matic?
I'm looking at Matic, Theta, and Sol right now.
Okay, so one bad thing about Matic, I already noticed this. I know where this line's coming from, but if you look at Matic on the higher time frame, we've broken quite a big momentum line.
Yeah.
So we're still going to go retest this line, the line more or less, more than likely. But yeah, on a big time frame, Matic has lost its momentum line, and we've set a lower low respective to this one over here. So that's that's looking a little bit weak compared to some of the coins. If you look at like Sol, or you look at, let's go find Sol.
Sol and Theta.
Yeah. Where was Sol? Yeah. If you look at Sol, check, it's still within its momentum line at the bottom.
And it's ready
and
support.
It's retesting its bigger momentum line at the top that we broke out of. This one, it's just come back and retested. So this on a long term, maybe a spot position, it's quite a nice entry.
Yeah.
But I would try to get it closer to the trend line if possible, or on the break of this trend.
How about on a shorter time frame?
Yeah. Yeah. But that's not a leverage trade. That would be a spot trade for me.
Right. Could you look at it at a lower time frame, like 15?
Yeah, for sure. So we've got a similar situation. Okay, so we're just peeking our head out here. What do you think, Bruce?
I think it's just behaving just like all the others right now.
Yeah.
It's popped above that local trend. It's coming back and it's retesting it. Keeping a very, very tight stop. You've also got that gap to your left that if it breaks the beginning of your trend, it's got that gap there, which means it'll probably pop. Which is what I'm looking at.
Yeah. So yeah, we're kind of just waiting, guys. There's not much
Yeah.
happening. If you're in the trade, sorry, did anyone say they're in the trades? I didn't even double check on that.
Checking the chat. A lot of people want Phantom, but I'm not seeing. Yeah, there's a few people in the trade.
Okay, cool. Great stuff. Okay, Phantom's also lost its main momentum line. It's not a good sign.
Mhm.
Look at that. So lost momentum to the downside. However, okay, it's lost this low over here, but that's not a significant low. If you think you got to take the lows that are touching the trend line, those are a bit bigger. So this low doesn't make too much difference. This low it's still holding. So it's still all right. The price
think
could
the
easily
broker
push
that-
back within this trend and push all the way up
Right.
quite easily still.
Right.
So this is not looking terrible. It's not as bad as the Matic trade. And on a lower time frame,
And
yeah,
Max,
yep.
so I don't know if this helps you explain it better, but does the high that currently formed on the algo chart on the 15-minute, does that classify as a significant break to you? It will give someone a visual representation of what you mean.
Okay, I'll have a look for you now. So yeah, this one has kind of broken trend. It's got a bit of funky price action here, but you can see we sort of bottomed out in this zone once. That kind of took out the liquidity twice, 3 times, and then we've pushed up. So it's quite a strong zone over here. But the stop loss in this is going to be quite big.
Exactly.
Yeah, almost
That's what I was
3%.
thinking.
So you'd have to wait for it to come all the way back in here if you wanted to try and enter this. Somewhere in there. Okay, so what did you say, Jackie? Algo.
Algo 15-minute. It's just retested at the cross of the two trends.
Are you talking of this recent price action?
Yes, the recent price action. So you see where it broke the first trend line?
Yeah.
So you always refer to that high. Is that high over there significant enough compared to the previous one?
Oh, you're talking about this little breakout?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So, and this actually happened before all the other coins. So that's a little bit of strength and showing that there was some buyers stepping in kind of early. So this, okay, it did make a higher high respective to these. But usually what you'd want to see is price go like this. On really nice trades, what you'll have is a big candle or candles, and then the price would come and test this level. So it would bounce from those highs. When it comes back below, it's not a bad thing, but you've also broken below the breakout candle. That's not a good sign. You might have got stopped out on this if you were tight on your stop loss. If you had your stop underneath, let's just check where our candle would be. Yeah, see the hourly candle was the breakout candle, but you'd probably have your stop underneath there. You would be fine still. But no, this is not a significant clearance, I would say. You've kind of marginally cleared and come back in.
Cool.
But
It's
you've
all
got
about
the
seeing
nice thing about this trade, which I will say, is that you've set the next higher, you've set the first higher low. So that means you can track momentum for the first time. So you can have your stop underneath here already. So if you had your stop there, you could move it up slightly underneath here, and then you just track this momentum. Anytime this line breaks, you're out the trade.
Yeah, if you zoom right into the 5-minute, it's almost the very, very beginning of a bull pennant or bear pennant, depending which way it breaks.
Yeah, for sure.
Like even on that last push up, it made exactly. It did not make a higher high, which makes me think that it's pretty weak.
Yeah, but like Sean is saying, we could start doing this. And then we have a breakout. Oh, geez, my trading view is so broken. And then we break out. Either like that or like this. Yeah. I don't know how long you guys want to stream for, Jackie. We're sort of just watching what price is doing. You can see Bitcoin's making a little bit of a flag on the 5-minute. If we go on a 1-minute, we can maybe see it a bit better. so we could start tracking that. This is what I like to do, guys. I go down into super low time frames to see what's going on. But yeah, it's
To
looking
answer your
okay.
question, Max, I'm still working in the background, so if you guys want to hop off, just let me know.
Cool. Let's ask the people. What do you guys want to do? You guys want to carry on going? Do you want to keep streaming a little longer? I can't see any comments or anything.
People saying carry
Yeah,
on.
keep it up.
Yes,
Yes.
15
Hey, yes.
minutes more.
Carry on. Yes, boy.
I
Don't
see
go.
we got a hand up from Ged Gross. Ged Gross. I don't know if he wants to come up and chat.
Hey, Max. Someone just asked you to marry them.
Wait, what?
His name is Mike, by the way.
Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, you want to come up and chat? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Mike's
Austin's on mute.
New York opens at 15. Yep.
I
All
see
right.
a thumb
Someone's
up.
asked to check.
There we go.
Someone's asked to check Atom. Atom's more than a couple of people have asked for Atom and HBAR. Guys, I've got to bounce really soon. I'm going to turn my camera off, but it's nearly 11:15 p.m. here, and I've got to get kids up for school early. So I'm going to bounce really soon. But
Hey, Sean.
yeah, Atom and HBAR are the two that people have asked for.
Cool. Shauno.
Hey, Sean.
Sean, just before you go, just wanted to say thanks for your advice last night. It's not Jed Gross, it's Mad Tribe. Hiding in the shadows.
I recognise you, Jed.
Oh, right, cool. Yeah, the American think tank. Thank you, Licky. Today was really successful on leverage trades. I leverage traded all day, just small amounts, 100, 150 on each, running 3 or 4 at a time, which kept me pretty busy. But the advice and everything that you've given, and just the lick of confidence I got out of the chat last night was fantastic. So I'd say to anyone to put your hand up, have a chat with these people, and get in touch, talk to them. I'm starting to talk to more people within the forum. I've missed whatever's gone on tonight. I was waiting for both shows to come on, talking to the missus and outside, and she's had to accept that I'm a man's man and have decided crypto is the job for me. I'm no longer going back to work, which has been a fairly large discussion. How's that banana going, Max, you big chimp?
So hungry.
No, look.
Yeah, so thank you very much for your help. You're doing a really good job.
Anyway, thank you, brother. That was great talking with you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Jed, and stick around, man. The community and the family are here, and we'll always be here. You know, and we're all doing it out of passion and
exactly.
love for education. So that's awesome. Thank you for the positive feedback. It's awesome. It's great to hear.
Yeah, well, where do you live, Sean? Are you in New South Wales?
No, I'm Sunny Coast, Southeast Queensland.
Yeah, cool. Well, I was going to say maybe when we get through school and that sort of stuff, and the market settles down into a bull run where we can actually just leave our coins to go for it and just take profits, where we don't have to do as much work, we should organise maybe one of the first Banter barbecues, which maybe could be part of the stream. We get a family group together in each country that gets to have that physical contact, you know.
Yeah, either that or we buy a yacht. We pick up the South Africans and we visit Bruce in the Caribbean.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, look, as long as my ex doesn't find out what we're doing, I don't really care. If it's your yacht, I'm driving. Haha. All right, cool. I'll let you guys go. There's obviously other people that need to ask questions. I just encourage anyone. These guys are great. They really build your confidence. And if you get off your own ass and put your hand up and ask the dumb questions, you'll get straight answers. It's
no dumb questions.
No, but that's it. You may think it's a dumb question, and just ask the dumb questions, because everybody's had to ask this question once
Yeah.
or twice. You guys had to start going around the block at some point, had to make the mistakes, had to pay the lessons and ask the dumb questions, and we're all on our first trip around the block. So I just encourage anyone to talk to you guys in and out of the platform. If you don't have the confidence to speak in front of people, get asking questions. You know, a person asked me a question today about their particular portfolio in what they said to setting up for a 4-year strategy. And I just said, look, man, that's way out of my field, but I think crypto's an uglier beast than that. It's like a garden. It needs your attendance. You've got to water it, feed it, and you kind of can't leave it alone. So if you're wanting to do a 4-year kind of cycle thing, then go back to the share market. It's too volatile a beast for that. And I think too, if you want a financial situation where you can set and forget, then get a gold detector. And you can pick it up on the weekends, go and find gold and get rich. Other than that, don't worry about it, put it back in the cupboard. But crypto's not that. It's just not that journey. I don't think anyway. Anyway, great. And you guys have a good night.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks for popping in, Jed.
Thanks, dude.
No worries.
So what chart were we supposed to be looking at? Atom, wasn't it?
Yeah, Adam was one.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think
Atom,
Atom and H bar were the two.
okay, cool. So Atom on the high time frames looks really, really nice. Still within the uptrend, it's major uptrend, and it's broken out of this wedge. And we basically we're retesting. We've got this line of confluence here. You can see these big candles have been bought up. As soon as it hit these zones, check at these big candles bouncing off of that on the trend line, on the test. So in terms of a spot trade, this is a killer trade. I would say this is probably your best bet for a spotty. You can also track this momentum over here like this. So any break of that, you know you're carrying on. Yeah, I like this one. I actually might even put in a bit of spot money, and I wouldn't risk going all the way. So what you would normally do is you would go underneath this low over here, these lows underneath the trend. But what I would do is I'd keep it super tight underneath these wicks over here. Just because we've had such a big reaction here, and Bitcoin needs to push from here. So if it isn't going to push here, we're probably going to push all the way down and probably break trend. So there we go. You got a 2%, 3% risk on your spot trade. That's killer. What do you guys think?
And actually, it's really good.
I like that one a lot. And then you said H bar.
Yeah.
I haven't ever.
I actually topped up my Atom at about $10.98, I think it was. My spot bag.
Jeez, look at the size of these wicks. That's crazy. So yeah, with these ones, if you're probably gonna get stopped out of a lot of your positions on this coin.
Yeah.
Whether you're on spot or leverage. It looks quite dodgy. I don't know. I've never traded this before, but I know people have been talking about it. So I don't know if anyone else got a bit more information on this one. We can see if we can find any trends or anything. But the problem is this would be your trend naturally. But I mean, look at those wicks. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's quite hard to track this one. But I would take this as my momentum and just ignore these wicks maybe. Yeah, it's looking a little weak to me.
H-bar would not be a regular daily trade.
No.
But if you zoom out and you look at if you look at the weekly on where it's come from and the tokenomics, and you zoom right out and you look at that, it's one that has been down here, has pumped up, and has hobbled around the bottom, and is now starting to wake up. So there is potential.
Yeah, I would say if you're breaking this top wedge, let's go a little bit closer in. If you get to this top wedge, or we keep bouncing in this area here, and we eventually break this, it might be a nice trade. But these wicks are kind of freaky to me. We can try and measure one out. But I mean, those wicks say 20% wicks, 22%. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think a long-term hold looks like a good coin. But I don't know anything about it. You guys would have to tell me more.
Hey, Max,
Yo,
what
but this might
chart-
not be the right. Yeah, I was gonna say this.
and that was
doesn't
going
look
to
like the
say,
right chart.
yeah, on the market cap.
Okay, sorry, man. Let's try and bring up a different chart.
I was looking at my chart going like, where are the wicks? I don't see the wicks. What am I doing wrong?
I clicked this top one. Okay, let's go Bybit. Let's do Bybit. That might help. Sorry, guys. Rookie mistakes.
Yeah.
Two guys with
That
their
looks
hands in it.
nicer.
That looks better.
That looks way better.
Okay, I can breathe again.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is going on here?
And then I'm going blind.
Yeah, it doesn't look terrible. It's still holding trend.
Mm-hmm.
Looks fairly decent. Let's just go down some time frames here. It's just bounced off trend. It hasn't really got any. This is like, it's no real support here. This is kind of a downtrend and we broke that. So this kind of gets eliminated. We've set a lower low. So a little bit of weakness, but we're testing trends. So what I would do is if you are going to enter spot trade or leverage, no, I wouldn't go leverage here, but 4%, I would go stop loss underneath this wick, underneath this trend line. For a spot trade, that's good. If you want to do a leverage trade on this one, I would wait. Wait a couple days, let it do its thing, and when it breaks out, I could take a leverage trade off the break of this major trend. That's what I would do. What's your Twitter? Yeah. Guys, I got Twitter, but I don't use it. I literally just, I'm there to watch what Elon says, and that's pretty much it. Okay, let's just keep an eye on our trades and make sure we're not getting stopped out.
So there's two people with their hand raised. Should we bring them up on stage while you're waiting?
Yeah, why not? Let's have a chat. Okay, just a little update on this trade. If you wanted to get on the data, it did drop all the way down into the box nicely. So you can get in, and then we can also start tracking this momentum here. So, okay, 1 minute, there's not much data, but 5 minutes, we can draw this. You can see this is a perfect little bull flag. Okay, guys, this is the cool thing about low time frames is when you've taken a trade, you've entered now, right? Okay, we've set our high, we've created our bull flag. When we break this bull flag, if we don't clear this high, you need to be getting out your trade or at least tightening your stop loss up, because that just shows you that momentum is not great. So this is a cool thing you can watch. As soon as we break this trend line and we push up, if we're pushing higher, you're good. If we don't push higher, we're going to do something like that. Make sense?
Hey, Max, last up leg of the on that 5 minute chart.
Sorry?
Can you pull a fib?
Fibby. Yeah,
the last
sorry.
up, yeah. Just looking at the entry there, potentially bring it down a little. It's just my thought.
Yeah, no, I just
stop loss. Yeah.
Guys, the stop loss has already risen way up, guys. This is I raised mine earlier. I'm all the way up like here already. But this I might get stopped out because of being quite safe here.
But you're already in the trade, right?
I'm in, but I got in on the break.
Yeah.
But I probably will get stopped out over here. If price continues like this.
I'm just looking for those who are thinking of entering now on the retest.
Wait a bit.
Yeah, definitely wait.
Closer to the 618.
I think closer to the entry, closer to the 618, and that sort of the fair value gap there on that candle.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just my thoughts.
Yeah. So look, guys, I just took this trade based on Sheldon's technique, which is a break line trend, a break of a trend line. So this is where your entry should be. And now what we're doing, and Sean and I are talking about it, and this is a great thing you can do with buddies of yours or trading partners. You discuss the trade and what you guys are seeing, and discuss whether it's still safe to be in this trade. If this keeps pulling back, is it safe? Is it going to reverse? For me, I like that we're building this flag up like this. This is a good sign for me, because at some point I know it will break this flag and at least push up one more time. We can send a big candle down though, so you gotta be aware of this. So we basically, what we're doing right now is we're doing trade management. We're doing risk management, and we're going through all the scenarios. And in trading, if you get stopped out, it's not a bad thing, but it's about, my initial stop loss was down here, right? I was risking, depends on your leverage, but this thing's huge. I was risking, it was a 1% stop loss initially. Actually, it was higher than that. I didn't get my entry that nice. It was closer to 2% for me, guys. So on whatever leverage you're on, it can be quite high. Okay. I said don't go more than a 3x on this trade. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6% of my capital I'm risking, right? Okay. And now what I've done is I've raised my stop loss all the way up to here somewhere. I'm not exactly sure. And now my risk is only 0.6% times 3, which is what?
1.8.
1.8. There we go.
Yeah.
So my risk is already hugely reduced and reduced. And I'm in the trade. It's looking decent. So I'll rather get stopped out here than have 6% of my capital taken away.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Absolutely.
Well, keep an eye on that one, guys. Look, Bitcoin's coming back in its trend, so that's not a good sign. So these are all the things you guys can look at and watch out for. So if you are on the theta trade, just be careful, because we could see quite a big push down now if Bitcoin keeps pushing. You never want to see. So this is the exact same. You can treat a trend line exactly the same as a horizontal level. Whereas we had this box, right? I drew this box earlier, but that was sort of the level we were bouncing off. And we had these lows. And then we spoke about this. We took out the lows and we came and we reclaimed all these levels. This is called a deviation. You hear Carl speak about it a lot, deviation, right? The same thing can happen with a trend line break. So we've broken the trend line and we deviate and we come back in. Doesn't have to be on a straight line. It can be on a cross line or whatever you want to call them, skew lines, trend lines. So we can also deviate a trend line and come back in. So we just got to keep an eye on it. I hope you guys are learning something.
Max, would you consider that the same terminology as a fake out?
It's fake out, exactly. That's a fake out.
Yeah.
Guys, these are all the same things. You hear these things with trading all the time. There's different words for it. I don't know why there isn't just one step terminology that everyone could just use. Maybe they're just trying to confuse us all. But fake out, deviation, they're all the same things. No, we don't enter shorts now. That's not how it works.
And Max, to answer your question there, I don't think there has been anyone to set that standard.
What do you mean?
Like, there's a lot of traders, but they trade separately. There's never been such a big organization to set that standard.
I suppose, yeah. But I mean, if you think like if you had to go to a big like trading firm or something where they had to train you up to trade for their company or whatever, surely they've got like a set manual or script that they use. I don't know. Okay, guys, we're bouncing.
Max, go back to theta.
Yeah, baby. There we go. I told you we would break.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Cool.
It is retested sort of the breakout level. So this is right. Guys, if you missed out, do not FOMO now. You way too late again. You had your moment. Sean and I might have talked you out of it, but you had your moment.
Guys, I will ask my question the next time. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you go for it.
No, Jürgen, ask it now quickly.
Quickly ask it.
Because I need to search my daughter. Well, my question is simple. I would have liked to test the technique of Sheldon, how you compound during a trade. But then I got screwed a little bit because
I try to add, and then that's when I started losing money instead of winning money. So what are your thoughts about that? How can we learn how to manage that, or better not to do it for now?
What I will say, and I'm going to hand this over to Bruce very shortly, because I know he's just experimented with it in the last week. So he's got some real life advice to give you. But I will say that Sheldon has promised us that next week on the I think it was Crypto School, one of the things he said, or maybe here, but he has promised to teach us how to do that properly. So let's hear what Bruce has got to say. But I know that there is more information coming from professionals soon.
Okay.
Yeah. Jürgen, are you really confident in your day in, day out leverage trading? You've been doing pretty well with that.
Well, yeah, I had some really great profits, like 93%, etc. And then I started to play, and then I lost all my money.
Yeah,
I even got stopped.
Because the way it works is basically you're compounding your risk. I mean, we all talk about compounding the upside, which is why that compounding technology is, strategy is good. But you always have to remember in every trade that for every action, there can be an equal and opposite reaction. So I did one the other day on a shorter time frame to kind of test out how the math worked. So I got in a small trade on Solana. And of course, the hardest part of any of this is the entry, right? To get an entry that doesn't stop you out. Because I'm like Max, I keep pretty tight stop losses. So I got a 3x entry on Solana. And the next time it came down and retested after, then I added on to that trade and upped it to 10x. But what you have to do is that entry has to be tighter and tighter and tighter, because your risk increases by 10 times. And because you're doubling down on a cross leverage platform, you're not just risking your current entry, you're risking the previous one too. And then that one, got lucky, moved up, and then all it was looking for at the end was another 2%. And so when it did a retest, found solid support with the tight stop, I added on to it again, and then did a 25x for 2%, and basically a $500, actually total of $1,500 trade turned into a $25,000 trade that I closed. But I got to tell you, I haven't had my heart pounding that hard in a long, long time trading, and I don't like, maybe because I'm older or whatever, I don't like getting into that kind of risk. But the technique works, but you just got to be ready to blow a whole account over and over again until you get lucky one time. My analysis of it, just one last thing. My analysis of it is that technique will work really well when we can trust the trend. Like right now, trends go up, down. They don't last very long. A day here, a day there. Once we get into a bullish market that actually is, over weeks at a stretch is moving in a direction, I think that technique will be spectacular.
Exactly. And that's the key thing there that you're talking about, Bruce, is that trend is your friend in that situation. Yeah. And I'm sure Sheldon will explain it a bit better than us. But yeah, you basically compounding. If you had to pretend this was a huge trend and you had some time to do this and not on a 15 or 5 minute chart, you would basically, you would enter, right? And then on your retest, you would compound your earnings between here and here.
Right.
And you'd add that into the trade, and you'd add it into the trade, and you'd add it into the trade, and then you scoop the last little bit and you take profits. So it's a big technique, but it's quite an advanced thing that we're going to learn about this new week.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to clarify, Bruce, that trade was taken. You need to do cross margin in order to facilitate it.
Correct.
But was that taken with your initial capital in a totally separate account, and that's all that's there?
Yes. Yeah, because you're with cross margin, that basically says they can go grab the rest of your money for margin. So, and Sheldon was clear about that too. So have an account, one trade, and that one account and one trade, its only purpose is to accomplish that kind of high risk trade. Yeah.
So you're not using a portion of what's in your...
The math is great, and Sheldon talked about it. He talked about he was on his third leg, which is how he does it, and on that third leg he did something like go get a cup of coffee or go whatever, and came back and blew 40 grand, right? In a matter, in one wick. So
Yeah. So you'll start off on that sort of strategy. You're taking a set amount you're willing to lose, you're putting into a totally separate account.
Yep.
And you're compounding that. And if you blow it, you've got your gold to rebuild and start it and do it again, right?
Right. So you take basically the way I was doing it this way, and I was doing it on a shorter time frame, which frankly is stupid, but I wanted to really be able to model the math on how that worked because I was intrigued by it. I mean, really, this is one that should play out over a little bit longer time on a real honest to goodness trend. So that's just one thing. What was I going to say? But literally just as this, when you enter that third trade, the risk compounds by 25. You know, so, and what I would do is I'd put a fixed, like I would take an amount, I'd take the amount I'm willing to risk, right? So let's say $1,000, that's it. If this thing blows, I'm going to lose $1,000 or $100. And you start off by doing, let's say, a third of it on entry, a third of it on the second compound, and a third on it for that last little push. Your legs also, what I notice is the math works where as your risk increases, your stop margins have to decrease, and your expected pump also has to get shorter. So the last leg for me was a 2.5% pump. And I got up to like 2.4 and it was getting late, and I said, I'm out. So I closed it a little bit early.
Guys, I don't know if anyone's been checking the YouTube comments, but we've kind of neglected that whole community there. I'm just looking at the comments now. There's like 200 or 300 people there that are being missed out. Guys, we can share. Can we share the Zoom link and then they can jump in the Zoom with us rather? Jackie, or do you want to do it?
Jackie's job?
They can totally do that. We got plenty of room now.
Give me a sec. Then I
Okay,
can
cool.
share
Guys,
that
we're going to
with
share
you.
the guys on YouTube. We're going to share a Zoom link and then you can come and ask questions and jump on stage or whatever.
Yeah. Hey guys, it's nearly midnight here and I've got to be up early and get kids to school. So I have to bounce. Been a great chatting with you guys. But I really have to go.
Sure, Shauno, much appreciated all the help, dude.
Awesome.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, Max. Thanks, Bruce.
You bet.
Thank you, Jed, for popping in. I'll see you, bro. Okay, guys, I'm gonna head off.
Have a good week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just popped the Zoom link there in the YouTube chat in case you want to come and chat and talk to us, because I see there's a couple of people that were asking questions, and I know we kind of only giving their attention to the Zoom guys right now. Will we be ending the YouTube? We will be ending the YouTube, Jackie says. Jackie's mean, guys.
Wow, Render just took a sweet little pump, and I missed my soul entry, and that just ran too. That's what I get for talking.
Goodness, grape juice. And Ren's gonna break the highs now as well. This coin has been